in the Queen's Indian in 2017, and he won against another game in the Nimzo. But he's never won with e4, so it's kind of interesting that he's going to that again. And Shaq is, I think he started with d4.
Yes. And we have a QGA. I think you're the world's leading authority, right, Irina? We've had some QGAs.
Me, except all the authorities I learned from, you know? But yeah, definitely that's an opening that I have played my whole life since I was a kid. And so I do, it's the opening I have the most experience in as Black, against d4.
Yeah, I've only had, I think, White in the QGA, but I've faced it many times, and I don't really know what to do, so I just do something different every time.
Yeah,
that way my opponents can't prepare for me. But I've done this, so this is like if we were playing, or maybe you would have played a6 earlier.
Yeah, I think Dominguez is probably going to go for the early knight c6 is my guess, like c5 castles and knight c6, which has become White's popular recently. It's funny how, I played my whole life, c5 castles, a6, and then just like, a year or so ago, I was like, oh wow, there's like people are trying to do without the move a6. Okay, but well, Dominguez is not in this game.
He knows you're the authority, so he's playing like you.
Yeah, so he's going for the usual stuff. So castles, unless, does he want to play b5 here? Or is he just going to go for c5? Is there a big difference there, Ben?
Everything's theory.
Okay, well, now we're in familiar waters.
Yeah, you've had Black in this position.
Yeah, so what is
White in this position?
What is White going to do? I know like b3 has become. Okay.
Wow, Ricky won. I've never played that.
Yeah, it's funny how there's so many new trails being laid in these like well-known theoretical positions. Like I was saying that b3, it's not really a move that like 15 years ago you would really see, but it became like a lot more popular in the last couple of years. And Rook E1 is not that shocking either. It's another move that like when I was playing this opening a lot, you would just never ever have even heard of. And now it's like, just people are doing all kinds of offbeat things. I guess it makes sense. You're trying to prepare the move e4, which is such a key idea for White anyway. And if Black takes cd ed, well, the Rook is well positioned on e1 for the isolated queen pawn.
Yeah, if Black plays b5, I hope Shaq plays bishop f1. I hope so. Not saying he will, but
that sort of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think usually playing b5 before knight c3 gives White some more options to play a4 early. And
or do you think, Ben, do you think on b5 you can also just go bishop b3? Because bishop f1 is a little passive, isn't it?
That's just my style. No, I'm not saying he will play bishop f1. It just sort of fits in with Rook E1.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because on b5, bishop b3, we're not really that afraid of c4 because of bishop c2 and kind of normal for White. And so in case you take on d4, like I would like my bishop, I think, to be on b3 than on.
Yeah.
So this is interesting.
Well, I'm guessing Dominguez doesn't know the move Rook E1 because here comes a big think.
Yeah, let's actually let me look up this move and see it. How often it's been played.
Played knight c6.
He played knight c6, yeah. So Rook E1.
No, I like this move because I don't really want to play b5 until knight c3 is played, but now White has to make a move.
So this move has been played, actually, including by Mamedyarov. So he played it in a blitz game last year in the FIDE Steinitz Memorial Blitz. He played it against Anton Guijaro, and he drew that game. And it's been played, mostly, of course, online in the last couple of years. And it's been played by Cheparinov a number of times, including in-person games as well. So yeah, the idea is pretty clear. You want to go e4.
Can you play e4 now or too early?
And Gelfand has actually played it against Dominguez. Oh, look. So Dominguez.
I played that just to trick you.
Yeah, Dominguez has been on the black side of this already. And he did play knight c6 in that game with Gelfand. Knight c3, bishop e7. And they reached an IQP.
Yeah.
So let's see but basically both of these players have had this position.
Oh. And he's still thinking? It looks like it. I don't have any new moves. I remember in one of our QGAs, I sacked a pawn in the opening, and we basically just had a lot of draws where you were winning. I always had a bad position against you.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I remember you played Bishop D3 against me in one of these.
Yeah,
QGAs.
I've done that.
And right now, so Dominguez has played Knight C6 before, and his other game with Gelfand, it went with Knight C3, Bishop E7.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're asking, can White just play E4 and sack the
I mean,
pawn?
it seems crazy, but it is Mamedyarov, so
Yeah.
it's not a move that I would play, but especially after Knight C6.
E4, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, you even have to consider Knight D4.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
I guess E5.
5? Yeah. Yeah, now you don't want to go Knight D7 because that kind of gives White what they want. They get to win the pawn back with a pretty
Mm-hmm.
nice attacking position. So what to do? Yeah, okay, here there's some pressure. I mean, right, because Knight F3, Queen F3, Knight
Yeah, it
C5.
seems like White has compensation for a pawn.
Yeah. So Mamedyarov played Bishop D3 like you, Ben. Just
Mm-hmm.
going. So he's really making his intentions quite clear, I think. Actually, does he want to play E4? Does he want to take on C5 and play E4?
Yeah, he should be doing one of them, and maybe this is when Dominguez takes on D4 and stops all of that. But then Rook E1 makes perfect sense.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance we're going to see the isolated queen pawn.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah. All right, let's have a look at other openings. Wesley's White in a Spanish, and they're playing this really boring line, which Wesley has had both sides of, just not at the same time. Knight F6, Berlin, Knight takes E4. Yesterday, we saw Shankland play D3 against Mamedyarov. Rook E1 instead of D4. And we've seen this line a lot also. Bishop F1, so I'm happy. And yeah, all these things seem to transpose into each other, even if it's a different move order. We always get the same kind of position. And D4, D5. Yeah, I mean, interesting strategy from Wesley because Rapport likes, super sharp, complicated games. And I think he's just getting a position that Rapport doesn't necessarily like, but it doesn't really give White, tons of winning chances.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in general, this kind of technical position is more up Wesley's alley, and Rapport, it's going to be hard for him to showcase his strengths as a chess player in a position like this. But at the same time, it's quite solid for Black. So I guess White is going to be playing the bishop out to D3 at some point, right? Bishop D3, Queen F3 probably. Also Bishop F4. You think? Yeah, I mean, Bishop F4 is really the only square for that bishop. Do you think he'll be doing that right now, Ben?
Yeah, he could play Bishop F4 now. Yeah.
Because otherwise, Black will play Bishop D6, and then where are you ever going to develop that bishop? So I think you kind of have to do it.
Yeah, Black's knight on F5 is a little strange because we don't normally see that like in these exchange Frenches or Petrovs. The knight would be on F6, but I'm not sure if that hurts Black very much. Does block the bishop.
I mean, Black will probably play Bishop D6, and then you kind of have this position where White's bishop is a bit better than Black's, and it just depends on how you can utilize that. I guess Queen F3 or something like that.
Yeah, it seems like the slightest of advantages. And now, here we go. That's how the super GMs do it. This is how
Found the repetition, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I don't think Wesley So wants a boring draw with White against Rapport. but
Yeah,
I've
I
been wrong
played
before.
bishop f4. So now we're waiting for a report's move.
If that happens, we can have a chorus of boos.
So on bishop f4, what else makes sense for black? Bishop d6 really makes sense to me. Okay, I mean, of course you can play bishop e6. Nothing wrong with that. It's a question, yeah, philosophical question. Do you want to trade those pieces just because, you know, it makes your position a little less cramped, or not?
Yeah, maybe white, instead of playing queen f3, would just trade the bishops right away and try to get his knight to e5. He could play queen f3, bishop d3 later. It's the smallest of advantages. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Wesley just didn't want to let Rapport's imagination run wild and just play something really boring.
So let's take a look at the more of the games, Ben, so we can get through all the openings.
Yeah, let's see here. Jeffrey played knight f3, and they have man, this is reminding me of my game with Fabi in reverse.
It's kind of like a reverse Grunfeld, yeah.
Yeah, when I played Fabi when he was 11, he played d4, knight f6, c4, d5. And then later he told me he forgot the move order.
Oh, that's funny.
He forgot to play g6 on move 2.
Player. He was already a Grunfeld player when he was that young, yeah?
Yeah, but he forgot. He didn't know how to play the Grunfeld. He was like, I meant to play G, but I forgot. I had just learned it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So, okay, this game is definitely off to a promising start, I think.
Yeah, let me show the peoples how this happened. G3.
C5, bishop G2, knight C6, D4, oh, E6.
D4. Wow, he played E6 and then he played E5. Wow.
Yeah. That, I feel like, who played this against me? I feel like Harika. I played a game in the Olympiad very similar. And it's quite clever because you see, Ben, black doesn't have a knight on C6 yet, so white didn't have that option of like as they have in the Grunfeld to take and then play C4.
Right.
Try to use their extra tempo. So this was quite a clever thing to be able to play E5 and chase the knight to B3. And I remember that I got nothing in the opening as white. So just
well, you had this exact position?
Yeah. I quite sure I did. It was some Olympiad not too long ago. And I managed to make a draw. And I know one of white's ideas in this position is at some point to play the move F4 somewhere. But if white doesn't do anything special, of course, black has the big center. So black's going to be doing well.
Yeah, it would seem that white should be better because he's like 2 tempi up, but I guess 2 tempi up on a variation that's not necessarily great.
Yeah, so I think black will go, bishop. They have something clever here, Ben, where they also like try to stop like bishop G5. And oh no, I'll tell you what the whole point of this line is. Yeah, now I remember. Their whole point, Ben, is to at some point, like they're gonna play bishop E6, I think, so that on bishop G5 they can play knight BD7. And they're going to protect the D5 pawn in this clever way, right? Because white tries to put pressure.
Yeah, because you can take back with
and your knight's not on C6 yet, so you can actually do this and play H6 very quickly. And so that's one of black's main ideas in this line.
That's very clever. I like that.
Yeah, well, Harika, she's a well-prepared player, so she gave me a little.
So Fabi's thinking here, somewhat surprising.
Yeah.
I think this is still in his prep, but maybe not. Okay, let's look at Svidler and Shankland. I assume it would be a Najdorf after we saw the first few moves. Okay, so Shankland plays the Najdorf. Bishop D3. So this is the 1970s.
Ben, it's just so funny, like all these new paths that are being found, right? Like when I grew up playing chess, the bishop D3 just was not a move that you would study against the Najdorf.
Yeah, your coach would just yell at you if you played bishop D3.
Yeah, you would be like, why is the queen being blocked from protecting the knight? It must certainly be a bad move, But now all these things that were just like not even considered, just a short time ago. Like it's not, like when I say like probably 20 years ago, right, Ben? It was like a different, completely different approach to the openings.
I don't know if you know this, Irina, because it happened probably when you were really small, probably like, 5 or 6. In the New York Open in the mid 80s, I think it was the mid 80s, Svidler lost with black to Andrew Karklins in the Najdorf, and Karklins played his patented Queen F3. He always played Queen F3 here, and he crushed Svidler. And Svidler was like somewhat known, and Karklins was like, "What? You can't beat Svidler." But yeah, I mean, every move is theory. It's the silliest move you can think of is still theory here.
Yeah, I know, because people are playing A3 here, right? A3.
Yeah, I mean, every move has been played. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bishop D3, I think, is the less ridiculous of some of the moves that are played. E5, Knight E2, wants to go to G3, I guess, and maybe play F4 at some point. Bishop E6, castles. The knight goes to C6 in a Najdorf, blasphemy. But I guess then F5 doesn't win a piece, so that's one of the advantages.
So he winds up taking, I think, right? And taking the 5 square. And I think, yeah, this is, I kind of looked at a position that was very similar to this recently, where you're like allowing white to take the bishop on E6 and saying it really doesn't matter because my knight on E5 is so strong and it's
yeah, that's what he did.
Position together.
A4, G6.
Yeah, well, I have to say that so far, I mean, of course, I'm quite happy with Black's concept. He just needs a couple of more moves and he's going to have a most wonderful Sicilian position.
Yeah, the knight on E5 is great.
Yeah, it's the dream knight. Yeah. And so like white really has to act quickly. But what does that really entail here? I mean, because the bishop on D3 is so bad. Take us on E6, pawn takes, bishop G5. I mean, I guess you just play bishop G7 and you're castling and you're going to be able to protect your knight. So I like Shankland's opening here.
Yeah, this looks like the most aggressive way for white to play. And I'm not sure what to do now. It seems like I should be able to do something. I don't know what it is.
But I don't think so, Ben, because
yeah,
you got 2 pieces that are really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know bad pieces. I'm the world's leading authority. So let's see. How sad is he? Yeah, that piece is asleep. I agree with that. Yeah. It's not doing anything.
Well, that's a good one, Ben. That's good. Yeah. And so, I mean, under the shield of that knight on E5, Black is even able to be like a little worse developed and not castled here yet, but he will get castled and he'll have very
this knight's great. Bishop's bad. The queen has B6. The rook has C8. Black's play is pretty easy.
Yeah, and I'm curious like what Svidler's going to come up with here. I mean, he's already a little bit down on the clock. It's definitely not the kind of position that you can just coast by on right with regular moves, because
I would think with the amount of time that Sam has, he probably knows this position or something similar.
Yeah, I agree. So like let's just come up with something for white.
Yeah, I don't want to play like slow and build because I think that helps Black.
There's almost like even like knight D5. Okay, actually, okay, let's try knight FD5. Let's see what that is then. Because now on bishop G7, okay, there's bishop G5. So
right, yeah.
That's a bit uncomfortable.
No, that's very reasonable. And that's why you move the F knight instead of the C knight, because you open your rook and you open your bishop. Very clever.
So actually, I think they're going to be playing bishop takes then, because they're not going to want to give up a tempo to E takes D5. So what about bishop takes D5? And then you're going to be taking with the E pawn.
Does it actually say that, or is it my glasses?
Say what?
Wow. It says bishop G5.
Oh, wow.
Chess is too hard for me. It's funny. On Twitter, a couple of days ago, somebody posted some position where Zwischenzug won, And people were responding like, yeah, I always automatically recapture and sometimes it's wrong. And then yesterday, Jeffrey automatically recaptured against Sweerts at the very end, then B4 just won immediately. He had to check first and be slightly less losing, although still losing. But
And
yeah, these
someone
automatic
saying
recaptures.
in the chat that Sowen report already drew. Is that true?
Wait, did they do what we said?
Does that? Oh no. Oh no.
Did they do exactly what I crazily predicted? Man, I was like half kidding.
Wow. Well,
Man,
you know,
I find those repetitions.
Wesley playing E4 was not the best sign for the, you know, for how exciting it would be.
Wesley doesn't want to, you know, I don't complain here because, you know, we're getting paid, but I've already been paid for a couple of days, so I can start complaining now. On my stream a couple of days ago, I said, somebody said, who's better, Fabi or Wesley? And I said, when they're playing just normal chess, Fabi's better. When they're both playing bad, they're probably the same. And when they're both playing the best games of their life, they're probably the same too. And Wesley can just win a lot of games on her own and play great. But it seems like half the time he doesn't want to. He's like, let's play a tight move draw. That's fine. And White against Rapport, I thought that wasn't going to happen. You know, White against maybe Naka or Carlson, you know, okay.
Yeah.
That's just, I guess he wants to go to the rest day. I don't know.
You know, even like, you know, knowing their record, and they've had a bunch of short draws in like E4, E5 recently. So knowing all of that he wouldn't just try a different move and, you know, try to mix it up. And knowing that he's actually beaten Rapport with like one D4, right? It is surprising. I agree. You know, I don't know.
I'm not trying to win with White in a slow tournament. It's almost like he's actually thinking about the Grand Chess Tour, and he's like, if I draw my games, I win the Grand Chess Tour. So,
yeah. Well, this was quite nice for reports. You know,
right?
Day off. You know, with the black pieces.
Yeah, easy draw against Wesley with the black pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we're asking for too much. There were so many decisive games the last 2 rounds. Maybe we were spoiled.
Yeah.
Okay, and the game we haven't looked at yet.
Have some work to do. You know, what are we here for?
Yeah. All right, and this is Maxime versus Sweerts. We saw it was some kind of Italian gioco pianissimo, D3, castles, D5, Mamajarov style.
Yeah, this is looking so similar to his game with Shankland, right?
Rook E1. Yeah. In that game, the bishop was on B5. So it was queen takes D5, queen D8, then bishop G5 pin the knight. So none of that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, this is still must be their prep. In fact, Sweerts still has 4 minutes more than he started with. So I guess he's incredibly in prep. Bishop B3, king H8, and E4, bishop E7, or knight D7, excuse me. And I guess MVL doesn't know this because there's a huge think here. I was expecting bishop E7, but all right. Knight D7.
Okay, this is looking really interesting. I mean, so far I got no issues with Black's position, right? I mean, he wants to go F5.
Right. That's the pre-purpose of king H8. Yep.
It's interesting the way he's letting him take the bishop. I mean, he's going to put his knight on a really good square when he captures back. And actually, let's take a look at that. I mean,
yeah, I think he can attack the pawn again. Like if bishop C2, I could play bishop G6. Or maybe he just wants to play F5.
F5 looks
sure.
good.
I mean, he did play king H8, so.
Yeah, that's what Black is going for. And I guess if we go B4, maybe we need to. Oh, well, maybe there's B4, B5 though.
Then you'd have to play knight D7 again to defend. Well, okay. It's somewhat pinned. This seems interesting. Bishop G6 also seems interesting to me.
Bishop D5, Ben. He did not take the bishop.
Oh.
So he actually wants to take on c6. Yeah, double those pawns.
Just like Shanky did.
Mm-hmm.
Take on c6 and mess those pawns up. It's strange. You never play bishop d5 because there's always a lot of black pieces on knight b6, knight f6, queen d8. But in this one position, we can play bishop d5. It's engine approved.
On f5, I think f5 is the critical move, right?
The most aggressive. Yeah. Now, what if I try to come in here or something?
Yep, knight g5, right?
Yeah, because I got this square.
That's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, this is tricky.
Because the thing is, when the knight gets to e6, it also attacks the c7 pawn. That's the real problem. Because queen f6, knight e6, rook e8 would have been fine, but you know, there's knight c7 coming.
Mm-hmm. Where's my knight emote? I saw it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Hooray. It's not really a knight, but yeah.
Okay, he goes bishop b6. So he's like completely in his preparation. So interesting.
Oh, he's still playing super quickly in his prep. Yeah. Bishop b6.
Okay.
Yeah, because he couldn't keep his bishop on that diagonal last move because his knight was on b6. So now he says, okay, I'll keep my bishop. Yeah, and you're right. He's obviously still in his prep, and MVL's not in his prep. He's taking a long time on every move.
Yeah, so now what does white want, actually? White wants, okay, I know what they want. They want to take on c6 and then play knight g3 and kind of politely win the e5 pawn.
Mm-hmm. Very politely, that's nice.
I mean, you know, they don't quite win it because, you know, there's these queen f6 tricks, Ben. They can even go bishop g6.
Yeah, and there's also, d3 is also weak.
Yeah. So that's not even that big of a problem because
now he could play d4 Shanky style just to get that pawn structure that's, you know, terrible.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we can show the audience like the F bishop f2 trick.
Ah, sure.
Because it's such a big one in these kinds of positions. Like,
yeah, let's see. Do I play it now, or do I actually
take on e5 and then
I guess I can do it either way.
Yeah.
Bam. Yeah, this is a typical trick in these positions when I've seen a lot of games, especially when like Aronion's black in either the Italian or the Rio Lopez, where you can take that pawn and he's always got bishop f2 check and then queen f6 check.
And black is good.
And the truth hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, first of all, it really encourages me that Swears is in his preparation. And I feel like, you know, he's got the space advantage. And so, you know, when
he has a plan, f5, and let's go. Yeah.
He has a plan and he's in his prep. So I'm feeling like he's actually in good shape right now.
Yeah. No, I agree. No. Yeah. All right, we've looked at the 5 openings. It's time for our first break, and keep watching round 5 of the Sinquefield Cup. I'm here with Grandmaster Arena Crush. I'm Ben Feingold, and we'll be back after this short break. Learn chess with the Dr. Wolf app for Android and iOS, with feedback after every move based on new technology that explains the game like never before. Dr. Wolf will build your confidence. Download it now for free in the Google Play or App Store. That's what I need, something to build my confidence. All right, so since the break, Irina, we do have a pawn sacrifice in this game, but it wasn't because Shaq played e4. He got the isolated pawn position against Dominguez, and then just for the audience, you can never take this pawn whether you castle or not. Oh, I played bishop e7 already. It's not your move. You can't take the pawn. This well-known trap in many openings, check and attacking the queen on d4. And even if black had castled after bishop e7, which is what he actually played, knight c3, after castles, black is still not threatening knight takes, the same trap with bishop takes h7 check and queen takes, but Shaq wanted to give that pawn away. So he played knight e5, very aggressive.
Wow.
And Dominguez said, all right, I'll take that pawn. Bishop f4, just trying to get long-term compensation, I guess. Knight f5, and then queen c2. And this is where we are now. So Shaq is playing like Shaq.
Yeah, it's not complete. I mean, the whole concept is surprising. Coming from him, it's a little less surprising, right? I have never really seen something like that white just goes 95 and just completely unprompted gives up that pawn without, even trying like the typical plans of a3, bishop c2, queen d3, right? Ben,
yeah, if I was white, I would never play knight e5 there. I would slowly build, like you said.
Yeah, so this is a new approach. Let's try to understand it. I mean, okay, it's all about the centralization on the open files. I mean, is he actually thinking about crazy things like, no, I mean, he can't really go G4, right?
I knew you were thinking G4 when you said, is he thinking about? And I was like,
that's what I was thinking about, G4 and G5, but the knight will come back to D4. So what's really the point of this whole queen C2 move? Because
see, if it was Wesley So versus Wesley So, then it would be knight D4, queen D1,
knight F5.
Yeah, there we go. If that happens here, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, we'll just conclude they really don't like us, Ben. They don't
you know what? That's the first engine line.
Is it really? Oh no.
Yeah, I think it plays. Does it play knight D4?
Because knight D4 is a logical move, right?
Oh, it's looking at queen D4 also. I don't look at moves like that. I'm too old for that.
Yes. Yeah, so, okay. The issue for black is, of course, that their bishop is not coming out so easily. They can't play b5, right? Because of knight c6 likely happening. Yeah, knight c6 wins the game, or looks like. Yeah. Okay. After bishop takes f5, then you play knight c6, then you win.
Right. Yeah, that would be. That would also end the game quickly. Exactly.
Yeah. So the issue for black is how is he going to get that bishop out and just complete the development?
It's like he's sacking a pawn for like 2 tempi. The knight's going on a journey and ends up on f5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some positions where you take it and you get some more activity.
So I think, Ben, one of the issues here is also bishop d7 is not so easy to play, again, because there could be bishop takes f5 and rook a d1, and you really got to calculate what's going on because you're pinned. And look at that amazing centralization that white has on the open files. So I think it makes it like he's not going to be able to get the bishop out in normal ways. So he does have to, I think about this knight d4, queen d4 move.
Yeah. And if I know Dominguez, and I do, he likes to go into the tank. So this could be like a 20-minute thing for him. If he doesn't already know the position, which it seems like he doesn't.
Queen d4, where's the bishop going to go, Ben?
Yeah, I think that's why the engine was thinking that was reasonable.
You could go knight e4. suppose.
It's too complicated. Now knight d5 to make it more complicated.
Wow, black's knights versus white's knights in the
Mhm.
center. It's a lot of knights there.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like we're back in St. Petersburg.
yeah, but black is good here. Black is good. Mhm. Okay. So let's not do knight e4. So what are we gonna do? Bishop g5, I guess. Yeah.
That seems very reasonable. Although, if I kick your bishop, where are you going?
Yeah. Yeah, because on rook a d1, you can just take on g5, I guess.
Yeah, queen d4. That's the engine move that it
makes
just seems
sense.
really dangerous to put your queen there, but I guess it's not.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about it is that it's like a tempo and you're trying to like disturb white a bit, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, white has too much of a comfortable life.
So he'll
I
put
actually
something on
think he
d4.
will-
We
I
just
think
don't
he
know
will
what.
play it, Ben. I think he will find his queen d4.
Yeah. Let's see if anything's happened. Nothing's happened. All right, lots of other games to look at. You get to choose, Irina.
Okay, can you show me the positions and I choose?
Yeah. There's Wesley. Okay, this game's over. That was bad. Whoa, knight on c1. Oh, because he played a5, a4.
Okay, I think we can take a look at Xiong versus Caruana because they have definitely gone off
Right.
an unusual direction.
Okay, let's see what happened. So we saw this position, and he played a5.
Never seen that, but I mean,
Wow.
that makes some sense.
Wow. He played bishop g5, not only because it's natural, but it gives his knight this square, which is funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know he wanted to go there, but I guess he did.
So how does Black defend the d5 pawn now? He won
And this is like scholastic chess over here. Bishop e6. And he played e4. What else could he do?
I mean,
knight
he can take
c3
an f6. He can take an f6, but I guess pawn takes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Fabi's going for here.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really unbalanced position. And maybe
Yeah, I don't know. I might. Yeah, it looks like Fabi really wants to win.
he wants to h5, h4 bet, you know.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So okay, so Xiong plays a lot more sort of solidly with e4. And I'm sure white's not black. I mean, black can take on e4, queen d8, king d8, and then just go knight c6. And I guess that's reasonable for black.
Yeah, this seems okay.
It's playable. So, I mean, he could take. It's maybe not his dream.
Yeah, I think the reason he played e4 is if Fabi plays this sort of natural d4, then now the knight on c1 actually makes sense. We have knight d3 and f4, and that's sort of harmonious now. So
Yeah.
knight on d3, f4 looks very reasonable.
That makes sense. So basically you think he's gonna be provoking Fabi into taking on e4, but it doesn't seem like a bad position for, and it's very forcing, right? Like pawn takes e4. It doesn't give white like a lot of options.
Yeah, if Fabi wants that kind of position. Yeah.
But I think he's gonna have to. I actually think he will, because it seems like very risky. I mean, how much risk can he take? I mean, you see he's already taken quite a bit of risk with his opening play. Right? Like,
yeah, I mean, he's putting the test to Jeffrey right away. And you know, and Jeffrey's like, I haven't won a game this tournament. I got to win a game. Is he the only? No, Svidler also. Yeah.
I mean, we can try, Ben. Let's try looking at d4, yeah, because I mean, obviously that's the only other move. So knight d3, knight c6, and f4. Because c3 doesn't really get white anywhere. So f4, and here I was thinking h6.
Put it in H.
Bishop e7 is also interesting, but okay.
What happens if I take?
I want to take with the queen.
Mhm.
Although I have to say, like, pawn takes is not impossible either, Ben. Even
Right.
pawn takes is like, it's not completely crazy. But okay, queen takes, because I'm not really afraid of you taking on e5. I'll
Mhm.
just play queen g5, and I'm sure that I'll get that pawn back at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, is
Well, I
Fabio?
think this is what Fabi wanted with black, is some
Yeah.
position where he
You know what, Ben?
hopes
He probably
I'll play
will
his
try to
opponent.
play d4. I mean, I mean, because pawn takes e4, it's solid. I'm sure it's all right for him.
Right.
But if he can at all play d4, that's probably what he's gonna do. So
Yeah, I mean, unlike Wesley, who had white, Fabi wants to win with black.
yeah,
You got to get your wins where you can take them. And obviously, Jeffrey is one of the less experienced and high-rated players in the tournament. So got to beat somebody.
yep. So
I mean,
he
Fabi always tries to win.
good job of mixing it up and
Yeah.
keep
If you're joining us late, unfortunately, Wesley So and Richard Report played a very quick repetition, and their game's already over. But we got 4 other games to look at. So
and they all seem really interesting. So let's see what's going on in Svidler versus Shankland. I mean,
Yep.
so far it's been kind of like what we were predicting. I mean, white didn't really have anything special to do before black castled, and now black is completely
wow, he
developed.
played bishop e2. We were making fun of his bishop. So
I don't have a good feeling about this for white. Like, I mean, I guess he's just gonna go queen D. Okay, a5. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, he's gonna try to probably put pressure on the d6 pawn at some point. Shankland, can he trade off any pieces? Are there any, like a knight g4, the bishop? I guess we'll just go to b6. So a5 is a nice move. A5 is.
Oh yeah.
Sensible.
No, it's probably about equal. Both sides have their advantages.
Yeah.
We got, white can try to put a knight on d5. The d6 pawn's isolated. But yeah, I mean, if I was white, I would be
careful about this knight d5 move, because I feel like black kind of wants you to go there and help him trade off that knight on f6 that's like blocking up his bishop.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that sort of change in the pawn structure, maybe black is going to welcome. But if white doesn't do much and white plays, I don't know, king h1, right? Queen d2, just like solid moves like that. I mean, then it's more of a question of like what black's going to do. So I agree that it looks balanced for now.
Yeah, I think h3 also to protect this square, no matter how weakening it is.
Yeah, so
I mean, Sam should be happy with the outcome of the opening.
I think so. Yeah, he's going to be very satisfied, as is Caruana with the black pieces. And let's take a look at Swears, because Swears also was doing pretty well with black.
Let's have a look. When was the last position we saw? It was knight d2, knight b6, h3. He played knight d7. And then he played bishop b6. And this is the last position we saw, I think.
Yep.
And he played knight g3, attacking the bishop.
Bishop g6.
He actually took the knight.
Took the knight. And it's funny, he still hasn't used any time.
Right. And then he played f5. So this must still be his prep.
Cool. Okay. There's no knight takes f5 because of g6.
Okay. So instead of taking on c6, which is to be considered, he played d4. And he still played quickly. Swears. Is this like a game we don't know? How can Swears play so quickly if he doesn't know the position?
Yeah, no, it definitely looks like it's preparation. So
right, he played f4 and he still has all of his time and more.
Oh, this is the position on the board. Wow. Okay.
Maybe I don't know if it was played before or Swears just has deep prep. But it seems like MVL doesn't know it. MVL's already used almost half his time.
Yeah, so I don't really see that knight going to h5. Do you? I don't know. Knight h5. You would think that seems d4 is the most normal square.
Out there. Wow, this is very confusing position.
So knight e4, and I guess black is going to take on d4, or what?
That's what I was thinking. Then you could take on c6.
Yeah, you're
Take
thinking
on
about
d4.
95, right, Ben? Hold on, there's also 95.
No, we have to automatically recapture without
Yeah,
thinking.
no, I learned.
Yeah.
Remember from that line that you showed us earlier with that bishop takes
Yeah.
d5 and bishop g5, yeah, intermediate move. Okay, and now we're going to lose. Yeah,
It's too
because
complicated.
yeah, you got to play h6.
I could go here. I can go here. Probably just win the exchange. Oops. It wouldn't let me win the exchange.
So look at this. He's still playing so fast. 94, queen h4.
Yeah, I think queen h4 was actually given by the engine, and I was like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, queen h4 was an engine move.
Wow.
Yeah, he's obviously still in prep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess
sense.
white doesn't want to take on e5 because the knight's coming in.
Sure, queen h4 is a very logical move.
That stops queen h5 too, so I can't do any tricks.
Yeah.
Man, that's some good prep if he's still in prep.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
You know, with the black pieces to just like completely be in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, it's not even that he has a better position, which he might. It's just that he knows what's going on and MVL doesn't. So MVL has to.
Yeah, well, you feel that white's under pressure for sure by those
Yeah.
black pawns, like their queen can't move because of f3. I mean, white's king is potentially a target. So it's definitely not like an innocuous position. It's not like,
Right.
you know, like there's a difference actually, you know, where Vachier seemed to be in prep yesterday, right? But we were always like, is his position really that good? Right. Until we realized like, yeah, it never was. And now, you know, Swiertz is in prep, but we kind of feel like, you know, his position is quite promising. Right. So how is white getting their bishop out on c1?
Yeah, but we didn't predict that Schwiertz would beat MVL today. We don't want to look bad.
Oh, right. So this can't happen, right? Because we didn't predict it.
Yeah, right. We were like, MVL's white. He's going to be pressing and so forth. And
but, you know, so Weir's decided to rewrite that narrative a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to tell people, but, you know, they don't listen, which I think is usually correct. But a lot of times when I'm playing somebody lower rated, people ask me like, oh, was that easy? And did you even have to think that game? And I'm like, what? Like nothing's ever easy. I always have to think, and I'm never doing well, and everything's difficult. And so when I see these matchups, I know who the favorite is, but that doesn't mean he's not going to lose. Chess is difficult. Anybody can beat anybody. That's
Okay,
why
I
it's
have
good.
an idea. I have an idea, Ben. What about bishop e6 followed by d5?
D5?
No, bishop e6. E6.
Oh, that made more sense.
Yeah, don't worry, not like that.
Confused over here.
Yeah, bishop e6 and trying to go d5. I mean, I see the computer doesn't love it, but
oh my
God,
the computer says this. Because if you take, I have 95.
Well, that's too brilliant, Ben.
I hate the computer. Yeah.
You know, I had such a nice little idea of blockade on the light square.
Yeah, no, that was good. Bishop here and then d5, and yeah, and then you got the grip.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep your knights out of e5. But look at this. I mean, he actually just wants to take on d4, and white has a big problem. So how does white solve this?
Yeah. Oh, you mean just in the position here? Yeah.
Yeah, like right here. How does white solve
that? That pawn's attacked a lot, and taking on e5 just lets black's knights come in. Yeah. No, this is great prep. I don't know if it was a game that was already played and he knows that MVL doesn't, or if he just prepped this.
I mean, there's what other kinds of moves? Knight c5, Ben. Let's take. Does that make any sense? I mean, it's hard to think it's going to be very promising for white, but it's interesting. It's my idea. I mean, I got to do something about your.
That does make sense. Yeah.
So knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, And I'm gonna get your pawn on e5. So I guess I got
Yeah, you could just take this, right?
I have an interesting idea of putting the rook on h5. I mean, I didn't think this looks that amazing for white, but okay, maybe. Where's the bishop gonna go? Actually, bishop should go to b6. B6, yeah, stay on the good diagonal. Yeah. And now what? You can't move your queen. You don't really have. Well, okay, you do have rook h5, right? Like some.
Yeah, but then I'll move my queen.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
You're the one who played bishop b6. I was just following up.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So I mean, yeah, black is comfortable here, so I can't really go rook h5. So what do I do?
Yeah, I'm surprised Schwiertz is all in his prep and MVL's like, what's going on?
Yeah. It is surprising. I mean, because when you have
I like knight c5 though, trying to rectify the position instead of black having all these threats. I like that move.
Yeah. I mean, he might have to do something like that out of necessity. But I mean, it is really impressive when you out prepare like an elite player, like to this level that you're up, you're up 45 minutes on the clock.
Right.
That's not with black. I mean, that's not something you see every day.
See, if Schwiertz wins this game, then Wesley's going to go into excuse mode. He'll be like, you see, MVL's white playing, and then he got crushed. So, I don't want that to happen to me, which is sort of silly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go see what else is going on.
What's going on?
Maybe Mamizero Dominguez. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that before we go on our next break. Now, wait a minute. I said Dominguez is going to go into the tank, and he hasn't moved.
Appears not. Yeah, appears there's not much to see in this game yet.
Yeah, I mean, he does do that. He thinks forever on a move. He does that. Plays pretty well, but yeah, he hasn't moved. And this game was a draw, and I keep going to it.
Oh, so E4. Is Caruana still thinking?
Yeah, what's going on here? Okay, he played D4.
One D4. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, as long as it was feasible to keep the game complicated, it's pretty clear that's his approach. So that makes sense. And so he's
so Jeffrey's either going to play knight D3 or F4 right away, I think.
Yeah, and I think he's definitely going to be playing H6. We're going to see the H6 move very soon by black, trying to get out of that pin. Actually, I feel like this game is going to be the one that is actually going to be the most interesting. This one and Vachier versus Schwiertz. I mean, I think Vachier is going to be trying to get out and trying to make a draw. That's my feeling. It's going to be him equalizing if he can, and but Caruana is going to be trying to keep it complicated.
Yeah, and I say it every time. I said it yesterday too on the broadcast. Chess isn't a boring draw. It's only a boring draw when the players want it to be, as in so report. If the players don't want it to be, then we get 4 decisive games a day. We get positions like this, which are very strange and still sort of balanced. And we see really exciting chess. So I'm applause to the players. And we're going to go on our second break. And we will be back with round 5 of the Sinquefield Cup. Join Irene and me after the break. See you soon.
Oh, it's over.
No.
Don't stop me. No knight F2.
Oh my
like
god!
Like the variational approach here.
No, please don't. And it's too soon.
Oh my god! 99.1! Oh boy. Oh, he blew the queen!
Oh my gosh!
He said he doesn't have time to teach me. Apparently my viewer count
Who
too
gave him the
low.
Latvian Gambit advice?
My endgame's phenomenal. You know why? I pick up Dvorak's endgame book. Now, I can't read a word of this because it's all in chess notation. It makes no sense.
And Boy Boy certainly played very well. He did deserve to win the event.
Sardoche puts together an event for the ages and comes all the way to the final to take PogChamps 3 and the belt.
I think I've been more nervous for this PogChamps than any other PogChamps.
You know, when I said it'd be fun to see a checkmate in 4 earlier, I was joking. It wasn't real.
PogChamps is back. On October 29th, PogChamps 4 returns with some familiar faces. Mr. Beast, Ludwig reappear for their shot at glory. Presented by Coinbase, PogChamps 4 promises to be the biggest, brightest, and best Pog yet. So don't miss out on any of the action. And speaking of action, we had one move from Dominguez after thinking a very long time, knight to d4. I guess he's thinking a repetition is going to be okay too, but I don't think Mamedyarov wants that.
Yeah, so where do you think Mamedyarov is going to move his queen? Is he going to move his queen to d2 instead of d1? I think that makes sense, right? I mean, why would you move back to d1?
Right. Yeah, well, he might move back to d1 and then after knight f5 do something else, but I don't know what else he's going to do.
But I think queen d2, so queen d2, there is b5.
That's me.
Right, so there is b5 to try to now develop the bishop, which you couldn't do before. Actually, I mean, because if Black gets to play bishop b7, then obviously he's going to feel a lot more comfortable. Rook, like let's say rook a d1, bishop b7.
Yeah, but what's the difference between White playing queen d2 and queen d1 as far as b5 is concerned?
You mean,
I mean, it could,
if he went to d1, he can also go b5.
Right. I mean, he already had this position too when he played knight
He didn't
f5.
play b5.
Yeah, I wonder why he didn't play b5 in that position.
Well, that's a good question, actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
There must be some reason.
I guess there's bishop e3, and if the knight moves away, we have knight c6. But you can, oh, you can't play bishop b7 now because I'm threatening the usual nonsense.
There you go. Bishop e3 is the reason.
Yeah, and then that could be annoying. Yeah.
Right. So.
But he could still do that after queen d2, I guess. If
So
he plays b5.
Queen d2, b5.
Unless there's some difference. I don't see a difference.
Yeah. Oh, there is a difference, Ben, because now when you go knight f5, you know, sometimes when you take on d2, you don't get the comfortable rook takes d1, you know, developing a new piece.
Right.
That's a difference, Ben. So
I could play knight c6 first.
Yeah, let's say queen d6. That's all right.
Yeah, this seems okay.
Bishop take, well, I don't know. It looks, so bishop f5, there's queen c6. Okay, so that's 1 point.
And then if you play this, you can't take with the knight because of bishop h7. So we can do this, and now white needs a winning discovered attack.
which he doesn't have.
Yeah, I don't see one, yeah. But he needs one. This seems okay for everybody.
Yeah, like you mean for black.
Calculate it right if you're gonna play it, because,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, he actually played queen f3.
yeah, he played queen d1 and then went to, and then changed his mind, queen f3.
Okay.
Man, that was getting scary there. Queen c2 would have seen another draw.
Okay, that makes sense. And he's actually won a lot of time on the clock with that little pretend repetition.
I still want this to happen, but not really. And then draw.
Yeah. So what is black going to do now, Ben? I mean, still, how is he getting the pieces out?
He did play knight h4, I think.
Or does he want to go knight g6?
You can just keep playing knight f5, I guess. Although I'd be worried to do that. I mean, I assume the queen goes to like g3 or h3. Yeah, then I guess knight g6.
Yeah, like queen h3, I would assume, because you can't really go to f5 anymore. At some point, just g4 is going to happen.
Right, g4 is going to be good eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's going to g6.
Mhm.
And then the question is, okay, I mean, the bishop's hanging. You're probably going to need to make a trade. I mean, you could consider bishop g3, I suppose. Yeah, you could consider that.
Mhm.
Or you can take like knight takes. I don't know, which piece you take on g6 then, if you take.
Might take with the bishop just so I can get a tempo later with rook d1 and my knight on e5 is a monster.
Yeah, let's look at that position. Let's see how black is getting the pieces out, because that's really, I think this is quite likely. Yeah, rook a d1.
Mhm.
But obviously, you're not going to go bishop d7 because you're probably going
Too
to
scared.
Yeah. But the question is, okay, what does white want? White wants, okay, g4, g5 is not really a threat. Queen h4, rook d3. I mean, that's kind of hard to carry
Yeah,
out.
because after queen h4, I have knight h5 sometimes.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So okay, like let's say we play queen to, even to b6 is possible.
Yeah, the engine's saying this is balanced, so it must think white has good compensation for a pawn, because computers like bishops and pawns.
And I agree, because you know the bishop on c8 is really, this whole position is actually revolving around the fact that black cannot develop that bishop.
Mhm.
So how does white play here? I mean, well, how would you develop the attack? Would you give up this b2 pawn? Or would you just play a call move like rook d2 or rook e2 then? Maybe rook e2.
You know, I think for 30 minutes I would be confused in a real game.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't give up my b2 pawn. I'd probably do something to save it, like you said, rook d2 or something. But I mean, I don't want to do that. I want to attack. I don't really see like
Yeah, how
a way
about
to-
rook e2 then? Maybe just rook e2. Rook e2,
e2.
you might go rook d8, of course.
Yeah.
You know, rook d8, I think is, why not? Your rook's not doing much.
Yeah, I got to play queen h8 check, knight f7, then I resign. But it was
Yeah,
fun.
I know.
It was fun though.
About that decoy too.
Yeah.
So yeah, black wants to trade a pair of rooks.
Mhm.
I mean, if you go rook d2.
I mean, black has this permanent issue here, and if he gets rid of that issue, then he's just a pawn up with two bishops. It's
Yeah,
not
so
easy to get those
three
pieces.
happen. So I think we're about to head into this position actually, Ben.
Finally. All right, let's see what happened here. Let me refresh. Okay, I refreshed. All right, so when knight h4, queen h3. And I don't see knight g6 yet.
Yeah, but I think this is like quite likely what we're going to be seeing
Yeah.
coming up. I mean, is there anything else we're missing, like some kind of knight d5 actually, Ben? I suppose we could look at that. What about knight d5 here? It's a move. It protects the knight.
It's too
Attacks the
dangerous,
bishop.
but yeah.
Doesn't seem
Yeah,
too
protects
bad.
the knight, threatens the f4 bishop.
Yeah, that's
You know,
definitely.
you might get checkmated, but you might not. So that's good.
Yeah, no, I think black actually, knight d5 looks pretty decent to me.
Mhm.
Because, you know, knight g6 feels just a little bit passive. I mean, it's fine, but this one.
Yeah, it's funny. If you trade knights, I could consider taking with the pawn so I
Oh,
can
of course,
attack your
you will
queen.
definitely take with the pawn. You will just
Yeah.
jump at the chance to open that bishop.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
Now
Yeah.
we're actually
Alright,
pawn.
so
Yeah, our bishop gets there.
You'll be thinking about this for, you know, a couple of minutes. So let's go take a look at some of the other games that we
Yeah,
see.
at least. Yeah.
What has evolved in Caruana's game.
All right, let me refresh. I think this is the position. So it went f4 instead of knight d3 first, and then just bishop e7.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Very sensible. I mean, like, if pawn takes e5, knight g4 is just great for black.
Yep.
There's no way white's going to do that. On f5, you know, you just go knight d7, I suppose. Yeah, knight d7. Yeah, we don't have any better attack. Oh, sorry, bishop d7.
Yeah.
Or bishop c4 even. Consider that as well. c4 is a move. Right.
Yeah, this seems fine for black.
Yeah, black has a space advantage, right? So,
Yeah, this is actually making sense now. Yeah.
you know, the white bishop on g2 is not that great. Yeah, I mean, I love the way that Caruana has, you know, played to get an interesting, unbalanced game.
Yeah, I mean, he just wants to play knight g4 and have a home on e3 now that he's played bishop e7.
Yeah. So Xiong has to be very careful in these next few moves,
Mhm.
choosing his path. All right, so how about Svidler and Shankland?
See, this is the chess 960 you were talking about earlier. All right. This was the Najdorf. Let's see. Let me go back to the game and let's refresh. Somehow there's a rook on a4. What would happen? Okay. So after a5, Shankland played rook c8.
Preparing various maybe
Yeah.
exchange sacrifices on c3.
Right. And going to c4. And he
Yeah.
defended his pawn, making the exchange sack not win the pawn, and defended c4 a little more. Interesting move.
Mhm.
And then rook e8. And then h3, which is what I wanted to play. That can't be a good sign.
Yeah, you know, that move h3 always worries me a bit, Ben. You know, when I look at those dark squares around the king,
Yeah.
potentially. Although I see that black is like no real way to ever get into g3 right now.
Yeah, and we're stopping all this kind of nonsense.
Knight f4. So you know what I just realized, Ben? Black would really love to trade pieces. If black could trade off a few pieces, like I think that, you know, white's king is much weaker and he would have all these entry points. So
Mhm.
that's the question. But of course, you know, bishop c4 is a way to trade pieces, but that's not really the main piece you want to trade, right? Not the bishop on e2.
Exactly, yeah, because we want to keep some control of d5. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try to think for black. What to do.
I have black in these kinds of positions because, like you, I play Sicilian often. But yeah, usually my bishop's not
You
feeding.
know, I just realized an interesting thing, Ben. For
Yeah.
example, on queen d7, you know, white actually wants to play rook d4. They have this
Yeah, I was thinking of rook d4 because it was
Yeah.
funny looking. Yeah.
very cool little rook lift there. Especially when black cannot take the a5 pawn.
Yeah, yesterday we saw rooks on the 3rd rank. Today it's the 4th rank. No, I think it's very creative by both players, the way this is going, and it's probably balanced, but I'm having trouble. I'm having more trouble playing black than white.
Yeah, so white wants to probably play like bishop b6 and rook d4.
Mhm.
I would assume, because otherwise the rook can never really move because the a5 pawn hangs,
Right.
right? So you cannot.
I
get
was
away
hanging the
from
A pawn yesterday, like every game, so didn't bother me.
that. Yeah, so bishop b6. So, okay. There's no is there anything to do with this knight on f6? That knight sort of bothers me that he just stands there, blocks the bishop, and doesn't actually.
Mhm.
You can't really go.
I
to
mean, he's
d5.
pretending to put pressure on E4, but he's not pretending very well. I mean, white did a good job with rook A4, I think is really interesting move. it does a lot. I think usually it is play queen d2, rook d1, but that's running, the c4 square and
Yeah.
the a pawn's hanging. So this is a really nice way around that. Yeah, we thought Shankland was doing quite well, but it looks like it's, that Snidler's fine here.
Mhm. Yeah, it's going to be kind of like a big moment for Shankland. He's made all of his obvious moves, rook c8, rook e8, and now he can't really coast by with those anymore. He really needs to find a plan.
Right.
So it's interesting to see what he's gonna come up with here. I mean, queen c7, bishop b6, queen c6. Okay, I mean,
You want to put some pressure on e4 and the rook. Yeah.
it's kind of reasonable. The only thing though is that, now all your knight d5s are so much better because I can never really capture with the
Right.
knight. Right, so even knight f d5.
Mhm. I know knight takes e4 loses. I just don't know why. Oh, because you can take with the rook.
The rook, yeah.
That's why. I just knew that it lost. Yeah. I don't understand. Oh, you could take with the bishop. You could. I don't think you want to, but at least you open your rook
You
up a
can take with
little.
the bishop and like e takes.
But- Yeah, and then move the queen back.
And then, I mean, it doesn't look bad for black or anything, but the knight
Yeah,
on
it's
F,
funny how this rook, has the whole fourth rank now. That's funny.
yeah, the knight on F6 is a real problem. So like if I'm Sam, I'm really thinking about this knight on F6 because I feel like all the other
Yeah.
pieces are perfect. And this knight on F6 is a little bit, just a little bit misplaced.
No, I agree. And I think he's sort of lucky if, because if the knight has to move, the G3 square is open. So sometimes if we have to play knight H5 or knight E4 later, we have more squares to go to. But it's hard for white to keep attacking that knight since the dark square bishop is over here. I think he wants to play bishop G5,
Yeah.
but he's not going to do it. Actually, I'm threatening rook takes C3 here, right? Because the rook is not defended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking we're gonna go rook AF4, right? That's the
Yeah.
logical move. And then you have a little problem with your
Maybe
knight.
queen E7, because that way the knights can go to D7.
Yeah, knight of D7. I mean, actually,
Some knight, yeah.
that's fine. Right,
Eventually, I'm going to play rook takes because eventually I'll have some trick. I just don't know what it is, but somehow.
yeah, actually, this doesn't look too bad for black. So I mean,
Yeah.
I would say as long as he can move that knight from F6 to D7 and then play F5, I mean, that's sort of the absolute dream for black. So queen
But you
C7,
pointed
I
out
think-
something very important, which the viewers may not understand as well as we do. There's some positions that are critical where you find the right plan for you and your opponent, and players like Dominguez especially and Shankland are like thinking a long time because the next few moves are going to change the course of the game, and it's important to play well here. He put all his pieces on the right squares. Now what?
Exactly. Yes, we're in the that phase of the game where you're really choosing a plan. So I agree. This is like why we're trying to come up with something decent for black here,
Yeah.
because all the obvious moves have been already played.
All right, let's look at something. I just don't know what. Oh yeah, the MVL Schwartz game.
Yeah.
That's what I want to look at. Okay, so Queen H4 was the last move we saw. And he played Knight D2 instead of Knight C5. Similar ideas, moving the knight out of the way and opening this up. But yeah, Knight C5 seemed to trade stuff and this doesn't. But you can see that Schwartz is thinking for once.
Yeah.
And he took on D4, the whole point. And then
Yes.
Knight C4, which was MVL's point.
Interesting.
And he's like, give me that bishop.
From going to E5.
Yeah,
he's-
now Schwartz is out of his prep. So we got a game finally.
Yes,
Yes,
he's
his
out of
own
the
move.
prep, but I mean, he is up a pawn.
Mhm.
right? So Ben, what exactly is the problem with pawn takes c3?
There's no problem. Yeah.
No problem, right? It's pretty normal. We know that.
It's
black-
like in Pulp Fiction. There's no problem. So yeah, it's good.
I mean,
Yeah.
white is, I don't know, going to take on b6 because that bishop on b6 is so strong.
Yeah, but it seems like white shouldn't be better here, I don't think. Take with the knight, because if you take on c6, I can get another pawn, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that, the main issue is that the queen can never move from f3 because there's always pawn to f3 and then your king
Right.
is opened up. So that's
Mhm.
a real limitation of white's position.
Yeah, this seems like the opening turned out pretty well for Swiertz. He got a big time advantage and he equalized, maybe at least equalized. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think he should just take on c3.
I mean, is there anything else that he's thinking about here? Because what else could it be?
I mean, he could put his rook somewhere good.
Yeah, the problem is that
Somewhere.
he can't play rook e8, right? Because we're just going to trade and play bishop f4. So I very much doubt that he's going to be doing that.
Oh, if I play this move, you'll be mean and take the f pawn.
I think I'll be mean
Yeah.
because I don't know, on rook f8, I can always play like bishop g3. I can't imagine, or even, I don't think I'm going to lose my bishop. Let's put it like that.
Right. I don't think he wants to let MVL get his bishop out like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, pawn takes c3 is just the most logical.
Right. That makes the most sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at pawn d3. I don't know. We can try it. Does that make any sense, Ben? We can try looking at that.
So taking is the Smith-Morra and d3 is declined.
Exactly. It's the Smith-Morra declined. I mean, it's a move. It's not terrible.
Hopefully I can get queen g3 in. It doesn't do anything. It's just funny.
You're gonna take on b6, right?
Take this nice bishop. That is a nice bishop. We can take back all three ways.
I'm always looking at like 95, Ben, because like
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, you're looking at 95 now, but I'm thinking if I don't take with the knight, I can hopefully play 95.
I actually
later.
think it's really interesting, Ben. I think
95? Yeah.
That's you seriously, like, you set the theme for this with that line you showed earlier. Like, now in every single position, I'm like, where are the intermediate moves?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. It's fun to play intermediate moves when they're good, but it's no fun when your opponent plays them and they're good.
Yeah,
I
just
hate
for
when that
example, Ben, rook takes e5, knight e5, queen e4, rook a8. I mean, it just looks like it could be really dangerous, right?
Yeah, this looks like a game from the 1800s with White's pieces there. This looks like amateur versus Morphy.
Checkmate.
Yeah, this looks, yeah.
So there's some.
MVL wants to have black here, if I
about-
know MVL.
Yeah, I mean, even d3 is like an option for Swiertz.
Yeah, he's having a big think. He's got plenty of time, so there's no reason not to.
Yeah, no, this is an interesting game.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it off here. We'll go on our next break, but we got 4 interesting games. Unfortunately, Wesleyan Report drew quickly, but they're having an extra rest day. And we'll be back with coverage of round 5 of the Sinquefield Cup right after this. Blitzcoin Invitational starts October 27th and will feature 16 elite American players under the age of 25. Their prize, you guessed it, 1 Bitcoin. Don't miss out on seeing GM Daniel Naroditsky and others battling it out for the Blitzcoin Invitational, sponsored by the Charlotte Chess Center. Let's get back to the games at hand. And we saw some interesting moves in the Shakhriyar Mamedyarov Dominguez game. Dominguez, after Queen H3, did play knight to D5 and sort of attacking and defending. White retreated his bishop, bishop G3. The knight went to G6, very reasonable. Rook A to D1. And yeah, this just looks like black's up a pawn and white has good compensation. So that's good for us.
Yeah, let's try to make some more sense of it.
Yeah.
Oh, played bishop F6. Okay.
Yeah, and then bishop B1 was played. And this is the current position. And if you look at the clocks arena, not good for Dominguez.
Yeah, he's under some pressure here. I mean,
Yeah.
but let's see how he's going to get out of it. It doesn't seem too bad. It's interesting, Ben, if black captures on E5, which I don't think he's going to do, but white would have the very interesting rook takes E5. You know, with the idea of going to H5. Now, of course, there's all kinds of crazy stuff with like knight takes C3, rook takes D8, rook takes D8. I mean, but that's probably, well, it's actually, yeah, it needs to be looked at because white has a lot of pieces hanging.
Yeah. I think he has to play rook E1 because his bishop's attacked and.
Yeah, but that's not actually very clear, is it? Because after knight B1, rook B1, E5, and black's bishop is getting out and the rooks are getting connected. I mean, he has like some reasonable compensation for the queen.
The queen has to go here, I guess.
Yeah, queen's actually not very good, and so bishop E6 and attacking the A2 pawn. I think black is all right. I mean, they could have played F6 as well. Then I suppose that.
Yeah, this seems okay for black. Yeah.
Yeah.
We always want people to sacrifice their queens. It makes our job more fun.
So what else can he come up with other than bishop takes E5? So his knight can never. He has 2 knights that are pinned. Let's just point that out.
And
well,
he could move his queen so his knight on D5 isn't pinned. It's lucky that when they take on D5, he takes D5, attacks the queen on H3 here. So
okay, so let's look at queen B6.
Yeah, this just seems again like white has good compensation for a pawn, and I'm worried that for both sides to play their best, this is going to end in Dominguez having very little time on his clock. He's way behind on the clock. So, I mean, Mamedyarov has more time to figure it out than Dominguez does. And we're not very late in the game here. So.
How many moves have been played, Ben?
Yeah, this is move 20. Is it 20? Yeah, this is move 19, queen B6, which is a move that, you know, seems reasonable. But okay, white's down a pawn. Black has these, you know, bad pieces. Black's other pieces seem great. But to be honest, I would take white just because all of white's pieces are participating. And the fact that black's pieces aren't, the queen side there looks very dangerous. And obviously Dominguez is a great defender. But I think Mamedyarov is happy with his position. I think this is his kind of position.
So try to make a move for white then.
Never.
Yeah, just try it. Just try one move.
Well, I could play knight C4 because then I could do some stuff maybe.
Yeah, so you're taking up a lot of squares at my queen, and I can't. I mean, if I go to B4, one day I might get hit with bishop D6, won't I? But I suppose I can.
I mean, this queen's sort of weird on H3. I don't know if it's good or bad. That's the problem with knight C4 is eventually my queen's going to get attacked. I guess I'm safe on H5.
So what are you going to do on queen B4, Ben?
You're attacking my knight. That's not nice. I was thinking a knight D6, but I guess that doesn't that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I can take on b2 there.
Mhm.
Bishop d6, queen c4, bishop f8,
Yeah,
knight
that,
f8 seems pretty safe for black.
yeah, that doesn't seem like giving my pieces away isn't good. Well, I see what the engine says, and I would barely consider that move, and I might not even see it. Bishop to d3, just to defend my knight. Okay, but I'm threatening bishop d6. So, all right.
Yeah. That is reasonable.
But I just played bishop b1 a couple of moves ago, so I wasn't thinking about,
Yeah, it's very, very tricky, isn't it? So knight takes c3, there's bishop d6, and I guess what's going on there, Ben?
you always have an intermezzo. That's right. Yeah.
Where's this queen supposed to go? Queen a4?
I mean, the engine's playing queen takes knight, so I quit chess.
Takes knight.
I mean, all the pieces are hanging for both sides.
How many pieces? If black has one.
I'm confused. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little.
Oh, so if bishop f8, I have knight takes b2. Wow. That's weird. And then if rook takes, I guess rook d8.
That's a tough line, though. Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Black to go into all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, I assume this is better for white. White has a queen, but I like having queens.
But I think queen b6 is certainly a possibility that we.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's not tons of choice here for black.
It's weird because I feel like Dominguez has so many possibilities that's bad. If only he was forced to do something, he could do it.
I agree. You know,
A
sometimes
lot of moves look reasonable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really hard when you have just too much choice and you got to wade through a lot of variations, you know. So
I did something similar to this in the Chicago Open about 3 months ago. I was playing a 2200 from St. Louis, Julian Perlayko, and I sacked a pawn sort of, because I had to. I mean, here Mamedyarov insisted. And it was similar, and my opponent didn't play accurately, and he just got run over. And the engine's like, you could have done this, and you could have done that. And he thought what he did was okay, but it wasn't. But it was very similar to this. My queen went to h3, I sacked my d pawn, and I had all this pressure. And he wasn't Dominguez, so I won. But it's still, even if you're Dominguez, it's still difficult.
yeah, do you want to take a look at another game, Ben?
Yeah, it's funny though, Rena, when Dominguez is white, he's always like playing a lot of prep, getting an advantage, pressing. And when he's black, it seems like the opposite. He's always like struggling for a draw on equality. And then when his opponent over presses, he wins.
It's true.
All right, let's see if craziness has ensued in this game. Man, they don't play very quickly. They don't make very many moves. So after bishop e7, he played knight d3. Very reasonable.
Knight c6 probably.
Knight c6, and then I guess Jeffrey did not like knight g4 coming, so he played bishop f3, which seems a bit awkward.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a kind of a big moment for Fabi, right? Like he has a lot of choice here. He can A castle, B play h6, even considering knight to d7, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these moves seem possible to me, and they're just kind of like depends on what he's going for here. Like h6, pretty much, I mean, you can't really imagine white going bishop h4, can you?
I could imagine it, but I would be really afraid to do it. So
Bishop
yeah.
f6, bishop f6. I mean, that's just one example of a very comfortable position for black.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out they're on move 13. So we're going to see who's better in time trouble.
Yeah. What else can we do, Ben? I mean, we can try to trade the dark squared bishop off the board with knight d7.
Oh, instead of this for black. Yeah.
Yeah. We can go knight d7. Trying to say that, like, we want to trade the dark squared bishops and just kind of play with the better bishop. I mean, this looks quite okay to me too.
Yeah, this seems, like probably if anybody's pressing, it's Fabi.
Yeah.
Nice to have that.
Why
thought
don't they
of
just
before.
castles?
He did castle?
I'm saying the other choice
Oh,
number.
yeah, just a
What I
castle.
can see, just castle, like nothing's being threatened, So I'm expecting him to pick from one of those three moves, Ben. So I've really narrowed it down very narrowly to three moves, and that way I don't actually have to make a prediction about what he's gonna do.
All right, I'll predict castles.
All right.
Although yesterday Fabi did not castle, so his king was on E1 for most of the game against Wesley. You got a castle at some point.
So basically, I mean, there's a lot of strategic risk for White. Of course, White's king is more open. He has not a great bishop on F3. He has less space in the center. I mean, overall, like right now things are holding together, but you got to look in the long run and just understand that Black is certainly on the preferable side of this.
No, I agree. I'd rather have Black here because it looks like the colors are reversed. This looks like the player with Black has White just because of the kind of variation it is. And this doesn't, I mean, if my opponent plays knight F3, knight D4, knight B3, knight C1, knight D3, and my pieces are all just completely natural and I have space, how could it be bad? I hope not anyway.
I agree.
I think Fabi's better here. Yeah.
Let's wait for him to make a decision and take a look at maybe Svidler versus Shankland.
Let's go to the live board.
This H5 move that I was thinking about back when we had our big discussion about this position.
Queen E7, Bishop D4, H5.
Yeah, so that does not shock me, this H5 move at all. Actually, so what are the points behind it? I think one point is, of course, that he's interested in potentially going H4. Not necessarily, but as a potential idea to grab more space on the king side. Another idea, I don't think this one is really so much it, like knight H7 to G5, Ben. It's something worth looking into. It's not crazy, but actually also, you know what, Ben, when the bishop's on D4, again, every time you move your knight, there's knight D5, okay.
Right.
Knight D7 is still probably,
he decided that Svidler wasn't going to put his bishop on G5 or H4, so he thought H5 was safer than if, something like that could happen later, which it still could.
Yeah, I think H5 is just like a kind of a general move, right? Like he's going to pass the move to White, see what White wants to do, and overall he thinks that this H5 can be helpful in the future.
So he played Queen E1 as we were speaking.
Okay. Cool. So he's stopping H4. And does he want to put his queen on G3?
That's what I would think. He wants to play Queen G3. But yeah, it seems like it's very, I don't know what word to say, blocked. The pawn center's open, but it's still blocked.
All right, let's make a few moves here. I'm ready to make a few moves for Black, Ben. Knight to D7, knight F to D7. Let's do it.
So you gave up the D5 square, but you didn't care.
Yeah, I'm interested in the position after knight D5, bishop D5, knight D5, queen E6. Like that's the position I wanted to examine. Maybe it's bad, but I just wanted to take a look. Queen E6, queen E6, yeah, probably queen E6. Although queen G5, there was bishop E3. Okay, yeah. So this position seems kind of thematic, right? Does not seem terrible.
I want to win this B pawn. I'm probably blundering everything, but I want to come in here somehow. Yeah, it doesn't like that move. Oh, because you have knight C6. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew I was blundering. I just didn't know why. I was like, ooh, that's a nice pawn.
So what do I want? I want
candy?
Possibly even Ben to play knight C6. And even trade.
Yeah, your knights have a lot of good squares. That's true.
Yeah, it's a kind of this rule, very helpful little positional rule, is that what's going on right now, the knight on E5 is very strong,
Mhm.
And some people might kind of look at it and be like, oh, it's great that it's being supported by tons of pieces. But in reality, there's like sort of a competition of all those pieces over that square. And it would actually be preferable to eliminate some of that competition, which is why, Black might want to trade the dark squared bishops. In fact, well, Black would love to trade dark squared bishops and a pair of knights. That's actually the dream for this position, right? Just
I'll
leave
get a knight versus this bishop. Yeah.
yeah. Leave white with the bad light squared bishop. And that's why, I'm sure that in whatever decision Black is going to be making, I think the bishop on e2 will be a piece that he's going to try to keep on the board.
Mhm.
So do we have any other ideas here, Ben, for white?
It's funny. I went from liking Black to liking white to liking Black again.
Yeah,
Because even this pawn is attacked, which I just noticed.
so I guess.
I mean, Queen E1 undefends the C pawn. So
Queen E1 was a bit weird. I mean, because
Right.
on D4, he doesn't really have any pressure on D6 ever, right?
yeah. Now knight D5 is always, then you have to watch out for this.
Yeah. Do we have any other ideas other than knight D7? Let's take a step back.
Oh, for Black.
Yeah, for Black. I mean,
I could play
you have to
Queen
be a little bit
D7.
careful then. Like, for example, I was looking at knight C6, but then you have to kind of check out bishop takes F6 though. Bishop F6 and knight D5, which seems to win. So you have to be a little careful with how you
Yeah,
move those knights.
That could be dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Wow, the engine just says it's completely winning for white. I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah, it seems to be winning a piece. I mean, on Queen F6, there's
Oh.
5 or something.
Yeah.
So we can't move that knight. So the knight on E5 is not going anywhere. Let's put it.
Yeah,
let's
I mean, that's,
point it
it's a
back.
great move. No, but knight here is very reasonable. Also, I was thinking Queen D7, so I could tickle your rook, and then maybe rook takes or knight takes can be played because your rook is on a bad square.
Yep. I mean,
I like to
actually,
open my rook up
look
against
at
your
rook
queen
go. Yeah,
also.
Queen D7 is a good move.
What's that?
Yeah, Queen D7 is good because there's no more rook D4 that there used to be.
Yeah.
He played Bishop D7. Okay.
Bishop D7.
Sure.
That's a more direct way of attacking the rook, although it does give up D5. But I guess he doesn't care.
So D5, yeah, because he just cannot wait to trade that knight off the board. Once knight
Yeah,
takes,
I think he wants to play Bishop C6.
yeah. I like this move, Bishop D7.
Yeah, Bishop C6, yeah. The only way it's bad is if knight D5 is good, but it looks like it's not.
It looks like it's
And
not
then
a
if
problem.
Bishop goes
unless
to
you
C6,
do
what's
away.
Black's problem?
Yeah. Nice move.
No, this is a very solid game by both players. I mean, I think Shankland is really understands the position. I think his maneuvering is pretty good.
Yep. I think he knows exactly what he's playing for here.
Yep. Yeah, whenever I win a chess game and I'm surprised, Aviv, who you know well, Aviv Friedman says, you didn't get your GM title in the mail. So I'm thinking when Shankland plays good move, good move, good move, good move, he didn't get his 2,700 rating, in a correspondence class. He's capable of beating anybody and playing great. And
Yeah.
obviously, I think from Shankland's point of view, since he won yesterday against Mamedyarov and Svidler's having an incredibly bad tournament, this is an opportunity for him to fight for a win with Black.
Yeah, look, I would be getting worried here if I was white and I saw the move Bishop D7. I really
Yeah.
would be. I mean, I don't like the long-term outlook at all. Like if you have to go back to A1, it makes the whole maneuver look a little bit useless. I mean, you obviously can't go to B4 because of knight C. Actually, maybe you can go to B4, right? B4,
Mhm.
knight C6. You can still try Bishop F6 there.
Right.
So maybe
I thought he would just play Bishop C6,
yeah,
and then that defends the pawn forever.
yeah.
Yeah, because knight C6, Bishop F6 is probably okay. Take on B7. Yeah, I don't see why Shankland would complain here. This seems very reasonable. Queen E1 is a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a problematic position for white.
Mhm. Agreed. All right, let's look at the MVL Schwartz.
Yeah, that one was very interesting. I'm
Right.
very curious to see which
Okay, and
direction.
we left off, where we leave off? He played knight C4, that's where we left off.
So which move was it? Rook AD8?
He played rook AD8, and then he messed up his pawn Shankland style. And then played the very slow but good bishop D2. Connecting his rooks. He wants to take back on C3 with the bishop if they get trade there. And I mean, it seems like it should be close to equal somehow, but this is actually very interesting.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's going in a better direction for white because now the problem is black has like no real chance of ever playing knight E5.
Right.
He also can't really take on C3 and just like let white's bishop become that good. So that opportunity is gone. He's got those kind of strange pawns. And, you know, to be honest, at some point, like white can still take on, you know, B6 possibly and take on D4 and try to get the bishop to C3 as an idea. I mean, I'm not saying right away because I know black probably won't take that pawn on D4 and they'll try to blockade on D5. But somehow I'm liking the last couple of moves for MVL.
Yeah.
I feel like black is losing their initiative a little bit, you know?
Yeah, what the engine's suggesting to trade on C3 and then play Queen G3. Because, you know, if we take on F3 and GF, that ruins white's pawns also.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So knight takes B6, you're going to take on F3, and then you're just going to be completely fine in the end game, actually more than fine, just completely.
Yeah, what black is still a pawn up.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
So actually, wait, let's go back. So Queen G3, what can we do? I mean, we can't take on C6, so we can't. What can we do then?
That actually is the engine move. The reason is white can play rook E7.
At the end.
And then this is annoying.
Yes.
Doesn't say it's winning, but it prefers white, I think, because after rook here, black plays knight F6. And he gets his
Yeah. That one is a bit better for white for sure with the rook on
Yeah.
E7 and taking back an A7. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, the bishop on C3 is a monster, so that's good.
Yeah, that's
White's-
why I'm a little concerned. But also, like, so what is white's next move? Let's just think. White played bishop D2. What would he do if it was his turn again?
Right, that's why, yeah, it seems like that black has more than one option here because bishop D2 doesn't seem like the scariest move in the world.
But would white play rook E4 then? I mean, I think rook E4 looks very sensible.
Rook E4, double the rooks, take all these pawns, play
Yeah.
rook E7, yeah.
Because then knight C5, I mean, I can even play rook takes D4. Why not get my pawn back? And
Mhm.
or knight C5 maybe. Yeah, rook takes D4 is, well, rook takes
It
D4.
might be time for your move.
Which one is my move then?
D3, you suggested it earlier.
3, yeah.
Then the bishop can't go to C3.
That's interesting. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you take the bishop, my pawns aren't as messed up as they were. Or I could take with the knight and my rook defends my D pawn.
Yeah, no, D3 is actually looking interesting to me. Yeah.
Yeah, with rook D8, that makes some sense. It really helps black. Yeah, DC3 just helps white. So, yeah.
And what if I go rook E4? Let's just take a look.
So I'll go queen G3 again because it was so much fun last time.
I always miss that move.
This
always.
is more fun because your bishop isn't here. I still have my pawn on D6 or D3.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an improved version. That other one where, yeah, that was just helping white.
I guess bishop F4. Bishop F4. I mean, you're gonna
You
take
can get
on
away with that.
knight C5. Yeah, it doesn't. Doesn't look good, no.
Yeah, you can trade and play knight c5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Pawn structure chess.
Mm.
Everybody's pawn structure is bad.
Yeah, I like d3. It's not what he played, Ben. So
He played knight
f6.
f6.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wants to, hey, he stopped your rook e4.
Mhm.
And now his rook is active. So it makes sense.
So I mean, obviously now white needs to think about taking the f4 pawn. So queen f4, but queen f4, bishop f4, pawn c3, pawn c3.
Yeah, this looks like there should be some trick. I don't know what the trick is, but there should be.
Bishop f2 is coming and knight d5. Let's try it, Ben. Pawn c3.
You're taking this? I thought just knight h5, but I guess your move's better.
Yeah, knight h5, there's still bishop e3, but
Right, yeah.
yeah, bishop f2,
Okay,
let's
so
try
you want to
that.
do this and then knight d5 or h5?
Yeah, knight d5, let's go into the center.
If I want to not lose my piece back, I play this, but,
Yeah, you're still gonna lose that.
oh, you just take it. Because my knight's hanging on
Yeah,
c4.
I mean, g5 was pretty good too.
Yeah. Yeah, this though, yeah, okay, I'm not taking white here.
Yeah, so knight f6 is interesting.
Yeah, I like knight f6 because it unleashes the rook and it stops rook e4. Now I feel silly for suggesting this because it just helps white.
Okay, Ben, I guess to equalize, we can take on b6, right? Yeah, this is what we need to do to properly equalize this
Mhm.
position, probably. Yeah. And yeah,
I'm not sure who I want here. I might even want to have white.
Yeah, well, are you sure you don't want to take with a c pawn then? Because that way you don't have to
Maybe,
worry
yeah.
about me having outside passers with
Yeah.
a c pawn.
Yeah, I mean, black's got pawns that, you know, and I got rook e7 and I don't know, maybe I want to have white here. I can't tell. But this is very reasonable. Yeah.
Well, I think. Okay, do you think white's going to take an f4?
I don't really want to take on f4. I want to leave that there.
Okay, so tell me what you're going to play then.
Yeah. I don't know, I want to take this because I want to, you know, get my bishop out, get my
But I want to
rook
play
out.
knight d5, Ben. Knight d5.
Okay, then get my rook out.
Yeah, but this position, it seems like it should be totally fine for black. Is that
Yeah, and the
right?
rook here. Yeah, but I think I'd rather have white here. But yeah, I think the engine just says it's equal. Darn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely happy as black. Like I'll go queen f6 maybe.
Mhm.
And I think like as long as I have that knight, I can't really.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good night.
You know.
Okay, on that note, we will take our next break. And
We had our
we have,
first little disagreement, Ben.
what's that?
We had our first disagreement about this position.
Yeah, well, we barely disagree.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's very.
Yeah,
very
I mean,
disagreement.
We agree it's equal, but you'd rather have black, I'd rather have white. But,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, so we'll be back soon after these messages. You're watching round 5 of the Sinquefield Cup with Irina Krush and Ben Feingold. Back after these messages. New merch is available on the Chess.com store. Go to go.chess.com/merch to check out our brand new designs. Now, speaking of brand new designs, we have a brand new design in the game Svidler Shankland, which also ended peacefully with a repetition. Shankland happy to draw with black pretty easily. Svidler happy not to lose again.
Wow, he actually offered, so knight d5 happened. Okay.
Right.
So knight takes d5.
Mhm.
Yeah, so okay, queen e6, right?
Then he went knight
Knight
f4,
f4.
starting the repetition.
Okay, well, I can totally see from White's point of view, like a draw would be wonderful. So I got no issues with
Yeah, black's piece. Yeah, I mean, the rook is hanging, the pawn is hanging, the knight on e5 is the greatest, yeah.
So queen e7 happened, right?
Yep. And then back
Knight
to the
d5.
future.
And so basically he just didn't find an escape for the queen. Is that?
Yeah.
So can we see if he could have played on then? Like, okay, I understand e6 was a nice square, but queen,
I mean, you could play queen f8, but I don't like queen f8.
no, queen f8 is very ugly.
Yeah. Queen d8, you know, that we can go to b6 and attack.
Oh,
the
there's just
queen.
another repetition, right? Because queen d8, bishop b6, queen g5, bishop e3.
Right, that's also, yeah, I don't know if it's forced, but it's funny.
It's kind of forced, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to
Yeah.
be. I mean, it's,
Well, White could play for a win here because the queen, like, could play like h4, attack that queen. I don't want
drive
the
it
queen has
to
to go to
the-
h6.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Then
understand it.
bishop e3. That's sort of annoying.
Yeah, queen h8.
H8, that's what we want to see. Come on. All right, so they drew it by repetition, or as a kid in my class once said, drawn by reputation, which I think actually applies to some of these players. So,
Yeah, I agree. That's very clever.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't think he was being clever. He just didn't know how to say the word. He was a little kid.
Oh,
But
really?
It is clever.
But the
It is
thing
clever.
it's actually very clever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, so I mean, Svidler found a way to make a draw, which is really what we kind of concluded that he would be very happy with, because he was about to be in trouble. So I think he did a good job of getting out of that and just ending the game. So I got no complaints about him at all, because he was not going to be having fun in this game. So it's good that he ended it.
Yeah, I agree. It was a well-played game. Sam equalized, and Svidler realized the trend wasn't going his way, and he repeated and drew. Very reasonable.
Yep.
Okay, now
Any of the players there?
we got some stuff going on here. So after queen h3, knight d5, and he played rook d1, and then, whoa.
Yeah, we talked about this move.
Yeah, bishop b1, and this is where we left off.
We kind of knew that was a possibility, and we spent a bit of time on queen b6, but bishop b5 was a move we first talked about, and rook takes, and then there was this whole knight c3 stuff, right? That we were actually saying like, okay, it's possible.
Okay, this was I had to refresh.
Oh, you had to refresh. Oh,
Yeah, he didn't play bishop e5. He played queen b6.
Yeah.
I think we were looking at that even more.
Yep, that's what we spent most of our time on.
And then he played Queen H5, which we did not look at.
Nope. 'Cause that's really interesting.
H5.
So he's just giving up B2.
What is he, Mamajarov? Oh, no, that doesn't work what I was gonna say. Oh, maybe it
You're
does.
gonna
work.
sack on G6, weren't you? You thought, or
No, I was gonna play knight e4, and I was hoping you didn't win a piece because I have some funny mate, but the engine says that it's terrible. So,
oh, we are winning a piece, yeah. Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, I can't even understand I mean, I understand, but I would never think of it. The
Let's
engine's
try to
thing,
make a move, yeah.
yeah,
Pawn-
it's saying knight takes f7. Jeez.
Oh, he's so brilliant.
Yeah, I'm sure he sees that too.
I'm sure, because Queen H5 is like really, they're
Yeah, you want your queen on h5 if you're, because obviously your queen's attacked on h3 and it's just better on h5.
So King F7, let's point out Queen D5 is mate. how we noticed the complicated line.
Yeah, that's right. That's funny.
Wow, so Rook F7, and let's just refute that. I mean, that's not too hard to refute, just Rook E8.
Rook e8 and bishop takes g6 are both better for white. Yeah.
Okay, but let's look at that. Rook E8, you have to go Rook F8.
Right, knight f8. This though that's what the crowd wants to see. The
Yeah.
crowd insists on this checkmate. Okay, so don't forget that bishop on b1 if you're watching at home. Okay, so Rook f8. Now bishop g6. And then hg. And then it wants me to go here. And then queen h8 check. Wow, after king here, it wants me to play rook e1. I mean, it does threaten mate. I can see that this would be very distressing for black with these pieces here.
Queen B5, where's the mate?
Were you playing queen b5?
Yeah, Queen B5, yeah, how do you, Bishop D6, that's just evil.
Bishop d6, but yeah, maybe this is okay.
G5,
G5 maybe fails to queen h5, or maybe it doesn't.
H5, yeah.
No.
So wait, well, maybe it doesn't fail. Well, yeah, it does fail because G6, Queen
It's
H7,
too big to fail.
it's gonna fail, yeah.
So
Yeah, but what can you do to stop mate then?
I mean, probably you could also play, you could play down the exchange and have some pawns, but that doesn't seem great. Yeah, I mean, probably knight takes f7, especially if he plays it and Dominguez doesn't see it, that's, they don't think like 20 minutes of lose on time. But this hasn't happened yet. This is our crazy analysis. Crazy analysis always better than the actual game. Yeah, he didn't take on b2. He stopped all of our fun.
Queen H5 was like an amazing idea, really.
Yeah, I like queen h5 because I like getting off this here. And then, as you said, it does some other stuff too. So he took on c3.
Pawn takes C3 seems forced.
Yep, that's what he played.
And now what's going on here? What is white's threat? Would be good to know. So white's point is that, okay, black's still not developed the bishop. Okay,
Yeah.
get that. In terms of threats,
Maybe he wants to play knight g4. Now, but that hangs c3.
yeah.
So no.
So no, okay. So is it, yes, I mean, you can put the rook on d4 just kind of for fun. Maybe with some hope that one day you'll put on h4. It's kind of interesting. I mean, rook d4 is kind of a nice square. I like putting my pieces on protected squares in the center.
Yeah, I don't think white has a winning threat, but again, black's rook and bishop on 8 and c8 are not great.
Let's go rook d8, Ben. I want to put it to the test. Like,
You want to wait? Can I do that? I can't do that trick anymore. Dang.
because I'm just trying to develop whatever piece I can.
Right, rook d8 is very reasonable. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't see anything white can do to do this. There's no like, I do this and this and this and I win. Like
Right.
Fabi's always doing, just pushing his king side pawns and winning.
Yeah, rook d8 trades some pieces.
Right, yeah.
Lessen the attack and
I mean, from a mathematical point of view, black is fine, but I don't like 50 minutes to 15 minutes. I don't like it.
he played bishop takes e5 then instead of rook d8. Cool. So let's see what that's
Instead of
about.
rook d8, I like your rook d8 better.
Yeah, maybe he was a bit more flexible, but let's see what his point is. I mean, oh,
I can
or
take
bishop
this
takes
or this either way.
I think the bishop will take.
The normal move.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, of course he's thinking about f6. Of course,
Mhm.
that's like the whole concept, right? f6 and e5. It's
Never
really
play
not so
f6.
bad, actually. f6 is logical then. You know, you might want
But
to.
if I play bishop d4, can I take this?
Yeah, maybe I want to give back a pawn.
Oh, okay.
Play e5, you know.
Yeah. And the engine was also thinking about playing f5 and saying white has nothing.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, that's the engine type of thing where he's going to restrict the bishop on b1 and feel
Right.
really comfortable, even though the position looks kind of ugly.
Mhm.
But f6 is the more human move.
Yeah.
Let's look at f6 because I feel like that's what he's maybe more thinking about. So bishop d4.
Right. That seems.
Okay, queen c7. Like I just very basic chess. What are you doing here about e5?
Mhm. I want to play an Irina like rook lift to h3 or g3 or something.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's a bishop sitting there crouching on c8, ready to stop that idea.
It's hidden and it's crouching. Dang.
Yeah.
Huh.
What is?
You're saying if I take this and win my pawn back, black has nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That normally after e5, black would be completely fine with a nice
Mhm.
pawn structure in the center and the bishop coming out to e6, connecting the rooks. So I just feel like, you know, someone who's playing bishop takes e5 is like someone who wants to play a dark square strategy. That's my
Right.
like
Yeah.
human type of understanding, like that he's giving up the dark square bishop so that he can then put pawns on dark squares, you know?
Yeah. And again, and bishop takes isn't forced on e5. The other captures are also possible. Okay, actually he played bishop takes e5, and then Dominguez played your move from earlier, rook to d8.
Okay, it's a little surprising. I still think f6 is like, it's on the agenda.
Mhm. My fans who are watching me can't believe that I'm not, dissing f6 nonstop. But obviously, if I have a white squared bishop and you have a dark squared bishop and I don't, putting the pawns on the dark squares is very reasonable.
I think he's, my impression is that black is okay here. I mean, yeah, his time situation is not so good, but I think he is trying to neutralize. He's trying to simplify, right, Ben? That's kind of like how we can interpret all these moves: bishop takes knight and rook d8. And white, okay, how does white really do something when that knight on g6 is such a good defender?
Right, and not only is black a pawn up, but if they keep trading and black fends off the attack, white has these two isolated pawns also. So white's sort of forced to, either get his pawn back and try to draw or go all in for mate.
Yeah, like for example, rook d8, queen d8, rook d1, just queen e7. Right, I think this is the point. So like the queen is quite well placed there, holding everything. And, f6 is always possible.
Yeah, I mean, now you can even, you can try to play bishop d7 to c6 now, or even e8.
I mean, you can go bishop d6. I'll go queen f6. You can go, I don't know, bishop b5, I suppose, with a repetition. Is there anything else you can do? Bishop c7, maybe, Ben? Maybe you should try to get. Let's go bishop c7. Let's try to get into d8.
You're trying to win. That's not nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to win. So there's of course some of that initiative for white. White's gonna have to find lines like that.
Yeah.
You cannot just wait for black to consolidate.
This is how the game's been going the whole way. He sacked a pawn, he forced him to take on d4, and then he has compensation. and he just hopes that he can outplay his opponent.
Yeah, I think actually rook d8 and rook d1 is likely because what else can he really do?
No, I agree. That seems like White's, still trying to get stuff going. Yeah.
I mean, this way at least he's getting the open file because the rook on e1 is not particularly like
You could
useful.
play bishop d4, but I don't know what the follow-up is.
Did he play that already?
Let me see. No, this is our analysis. Stop cheating, computer.
Because it still says in the live board, I thought it still said White is thinking after rook d8.
No, this is our line. Yeah. Yeah, I still have White thinking here. Is that what you have?
Yep, I still have
Yeah.
White thinking, yeah. Okay, well, this is an interesting game.
Yeah.
So let's maybe move on and take a look at what's going on in Xiang Caruana.
Man, there's been only like 3 moves. So after bishop f3, he played
Bishop
b5, a move none of us thought of.
No, wow, did not think of that at all. Wasn't even on my radar.
Wow. I
Okay.
mean, he's just showing like, I don't care what you do, you can't do anything, so I'll just do what I want to do.
Yep, makes sense.
And then b3, they're playing on that side of the board. Yeah, b3, you can't play bishop c4 anymore, so then maybe f5 will make more sense later.
Yeah, positionally it's very ugly, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Because actually, if you think about it, like you got this light squared bishop, you're putting more pawns on light squares. It's going to be harder to ever play c3.
G6 surprises me, but Fabi's better than me.
I agree. It's surprising.
You agree with both those statements, right?
Yeah, I do.
G6 was not on my radar.
No, that these pawn moves that he's coming up with b5 and g6, they really are like not so obvious.
Yeah. And then Jeffrey played f5.
Sure. So I guess is he going pawn takes and bishop d5, or no, he's not going to want to open up that bishop, but it's interesting. Bishop d7 is the safe move, I guess.
I mean, just the way that Fabi's playing indicates to me he really wants to win.
Yeah.
That he's not kidding around this game. He's gonna go all in.
So what did he play here? We're already quite far in this game. Then.
I'm not a G6 fan. I'm not a B5 fan, but this game is so strange. I guess I would just move my bishop.
Yeah, I think because
I don't know where I'd move it. I'd probably go to D7 because I want my C file open, my knight defended.
the current live position is actually quite nice for black, I think.
Oh, this isn't the current live position?
No, we keep going, Ben. Let's keep going.
Oh my God, that's a lot of moves. Okay. Whoa. So that was just wrong what I was showing? I don't even know anymore. Okay. So he didn't play B5. I don't know. How did that happen?
Oh,
it missed these intermediate moves on my board.
Oh, Ben, so he played the move I suggested.
Right, knight d7, right.
3 reasonable moves.
Yeah, he played b5 here just to control. Yeah.
Okay, because
that makes a lot more sense than what I was
seeing.
It
does, because it was funny, Ben. It's like we're commentating, and when the players play moves that we completely don't understand, it's like, are we that bad? Like
yeah, I was like, what are these moves? Yeah. These moves make more sense. Never play f6. Okay. Yeah, he forced g6. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. No, and g6 is an absolute mystery. Like the way we saw it, that was impossible to understand.
This looks very reasonable. Yeah. Yeah, I got to learn better how to see the actual board. Man, they played so many moves too.
Someone is saying, not great when the commentators don't know what moves were played. Well, you got to forgive those guys. We're doing our best.
That's right. Our best might not be good, but it's better than you guys at home. So. Bishop e6. Yeah, this just looks great for black. Yeah, I mean, black's got the H file, he's got the A file, got the space in the center. And white doesn't really have any way to, do anything. Actually, I want to go back there and look at how he outplayed him. First of all, he started with your move, knight d7. Yeah, and then knight d2 with the idea of f5, and then bishop's trapped. Then b5 makes sense, and the bishop's not trapped. Then after b3, he's got to stop f5 again.
F6.
Plays f6, so his bishop has a
Everything
retreat.
is very logical.
Right, yeah. And the check, the engine says these moves are all good. And then somehow, right around here, it doesn't like what Jeffrey did at all. He went from like pretty reasonable to terrible. This is the beginning of it. It wants Jeffrey to just play bishop g4.
Well, that makes
Yeah, it
sense.
seems like, as Kaidanov would say, maintain tension. And f5 gets rid of the tension. And I think it actually hurts white.
Yeah, also because the bishop in general is such a bad piece for white that of course it makes sense that white wants to trade it. And then at least he doesn't have any bad pieces left on the board.
Yeah, the engine does not like f5 at all.
Because
So
the
this seems
bishop
pretty
is F7,
reasonable. These are
right?
good squares for the knights. Yeah,
Yeah. So after f5 is bishop f7. Did bishop f7 happen?
yeah. Yeah, now it already likes black a little, and it doesn't like trading here because now this rook is pretty good on the H file, and black has this nice pawn chain, isolated pawn here. And yeah, this is just bad strategical play from Jeffrey.
Yeah, because like also the rook on h8 just got opened up.
Yeah,
So Caruana got everything he wanted.
yep.
The only question is for me, yeah, like what is black doing with the king on e8? Right, I mean, because you can't really castle queenside. And this knight d8 move and all of this, I mean, actually, you see
Knight
that
d8.
knight d8 was very weird.
Whenever it's very weird, that means I have the wrong move, but I don't think I have the wrong move.
You don't have the wrong move. It seems like that's the current position. So
Why would
what
you play knight
world was
d8?
that? It just allowed the knight into b4 and into like maybe even to d5 and it allowed.
Why
the
would you play knight? That's a terrible move. That's an awful move, knight d8, if he played it.
That's really strange because b5.
Yeah, I mean, he gave him the b4. Yeah, what? Why would you go there? What was he thinking? Why did he go there?
What should he have done instead? Actually, let's think about that for a moment.
Yeah, I don't understand knight d8 at all.
Because he was a little bit probably concerned about his king.
Mhm.
Let's answer the question of where should the king go, Ben? Because he can't go to f7. He would love to actually put that king on g7, but he can't go through the f file. So that was a bit of a problem. And he has to be kind of careful as well because it looks nice, but he has to constantly watch over this queen side that's a little overextended.
Yeah, you can get overextended, push all your pawns, but it doesn't look like he is because the knight on d3 is tamed. It can't
So,
go
I
to
mean,
b4, c5 until he played knight
could have
d8.
played king e7.
I mean, the king seems safe in the center right now because it's
Well, I
so.
have an idea for you, Ben. How about castles?
You didn't tell me which way.
You know which way.
You're supposed to say no the other way. Come on.
Yeah, castles is a normal move to me. I mean, I know it's a little sad to move that rook off the file, but it makes your king so much safer. And you might even be able to play king g7 and rook h8 and just return there. To me, that looks like very normal. And here I would feel.
Yeah, and for those of you who are confused, the reason the king can't go to the f file to go to g7 is knight takes g5 is lights out.
But knight d8 is so suspicious because it's like he's not really doing anything for his king and he's actually undeveloping pieces.
So my question is, I'm guessing he just missed knight b4. That's fine. But if he didn't miss knight,
how do you miss it? It's not a difficult move.
but if white doesn't play knight b4, if black moves again, I don't understand this move. Explain this move to me. Where's it going? Why would you play knight d8?
Knight f7, knight d6. I mean, get that. Knight f7.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if your idea is to maneuver your knight to places, it's just that you just didn't see knight b4.
Right. So I think the idea, Ben, I mean, if you give me unlimited moves, I'll tell you what the idea is. And it's
Yeah.
knight f7, king f8, king g7, and okay, then it looks nice.
Yeah, okay, knight f7, then put the king on g7 is very reasonable. Yeah.
Sure, but I mean, okay, there's just no time for that.
I
So
mean,
Jeffrey
not seeing knight to b4 is weird.
he did
Come
play
on,
knight
Fabi.
before.
That'll teach you to play f6, Fabi. Yeah.
Oh, he must be so disgusted with this.
Yeah, I mean, his game was great, and then he knight d8 just messes it up. Okay, so he actually played rook b8, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, not only is the knight coming, but the pawn was attacked.
Xiong must be like, how did I get so lucky? After
No, I
playing
mean, the engine just says
terrible-
Jeffrey's
terrible
game
game
is
so
great.
far.
Yeah.
So what about knight d5, Ben? A very simple move threatening a small thing.
Very small. Yeah. Now we're gonna have to play like you in castle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's no.
I mean, how'd that knight get to d5? This is great. And there's no rook on the h file. This pawn has to be babysat. Yeah, this
And
is
how
just.
about one of my favorite things is undermining space. Can we just go c3 somewhere, or is it just I mean,
I like white no matter what he does. Got that knight on
I
d5.
think I mean, I really don't need that pawn on c2 versus your pawn on d4. So there's a clear advantage you
Yeah.
have there. I'm trying to chip away at that.
All right, it's time for another break. The games are getting more interesting, and especially this one.
We're
So
gonna
we'll
see-
be
I think
back and
Xiong
we'll
has a
see.
big chance here.
What's that?
Xiong has a big chance here in this game.
Yeah, that's correct. And the players are getting into time trouble pretty soon. So the next hour, we're probably going to see some results. We have 2 draws in the books, 3 games left. We'll be back right after this. for a limited time, you can double up on fun and learning for less than half the price when you subscribe in the new Chess Kid Adventure app. And you'll also get full access to Chess Kid. Download the Chess Kid Adventure app in the App Store now. Let's see, I play like a kid. Can I get that? All right, I heard from our producer, there's developments in the MVL Schwartz game. It's actually developments in every game. They're all getting close to time trouble. They're getting sort of tricky. Okay, so after knight f6, which is the last move that we saw, I think the knight was on d7, actually. Yeah, knight f6. He takes the bishop, take with the c pawn, as you recommended. CD4. This looks like what we were talking about.
It really does, Ben.
We played C. You wanted to play knight d5 and queen f6 and was solid, which makes perfect sense.
Wow, I'm shocked. You know, I am shocked that he wouldn't want that outpost. He's actually trading. He's trading the. Okay, he's not trading it. It's because of the.
Yeah, he just wants to. He wants to win a pawn. Yeah. Okay, but at what cost? And the answer is too much of a cost. As usual, Irene is better than the players. Her knight d5, queen f6 was better than c5. And now MVL goes on the attack. Man, he lets that bishop go to c3. I don't think that's great judgment. That's great. That's great. Here comes the rook. I could even win my pawn back. That's very strange.
No, this bishop is going to be totally dominating the knight.
Yeah, c5, rook d4. That's a spicy meatball, and I'm a vegan.
Ben, why did he take with the rook on d4? Like there was no chance to take at least with the pawn. I mean, why not take with the pawn?
Yeah, but I mean, you're not a pawn up here, so you should have played. You should have played the way you said.
Yeah, rook a7.
And this pawn's weak. My other rook is coming somewhere.
Yeah, 4 is hanging.
I don't. No, I mean your way was much better. Knight d5 and just leave the pawn on d4.
Yeah, leave that pawn alone, right?
Yeah, I mean, make that bishop on d2 terrible. I mean, that's a pretty bad mistake, strategical mistake from Swears. Like c5 and rook takes d4. That's, you know.
Now he's given Vachier like really like a dream. I don't think Vachier has ever had such a good position. And the problem is he couldn't even play rook d7 because of bishop f6.
Right. Yeah, rook d7, bishop
f6,
and the truth hurts. Yeah.
That one wins a rook, yeah.
He played knight d5, confusing me.
Okay, sure.
I've never been so confused.
Okay, well then right knight d5, I mean, it seems like a reasonable move, right?
Took that, that's correct. Knight takes, pawn takes.
Okay. So one thing we know is that white's no longer worse, so at least that part, you know, that phase has passed. White's actually got the initiative. Wow.
This looks really tough for black because king's no good. My king is safe. These pawns are weak. My rook's on the 7th rank. Here comes the other one.
You know what's funny, Ben, is like I've never liked this queen on f3. I've always just been so uncomfortable with this queen not being able to move because of f3. But at this point in the game, the queen is actually looking very solid on that square because there's no longer any pieces that can actually attack her. There's no more knights.
Right, and there's no bishop on this diagonal, so our favorite trick is never a trick anymore.
Yeah, so white's got the initiative. Now let's just figure out. There's even ways they can win a pawn, right? Like for example, if we look at the obvious rook f8, let's look at rook f8.
Yeah, I don't have any moves here, so this is either the current position or I'm wrong.
Yeah,
those are the two possibilities.
So let's look at rook f8. I mean, I think you know what one possible problem with that, Ben, is even rook takes e8, rook takes e8, and rook a8. Does that not just win a pawn?
Yep.
It does win a
That's
pawn.
exactly what it does. Yeah. Yeah, you have to defend your rook and then, yeah.
Yeah, because you still have the back rank issue. So, I mean, okay, you're definitely worse.
Right. Yeah, you can't check and take on c3 because of your back rank. Right. This isn't necessarily lost or dead loss, but this is really fun for white.
Yeah, just one sample line. I'm just curious, like, what else he can find other than rook f8. And maybe white can play even stronger than that. I wouldn't be shocked. Like, so we take.
Yeah, this is just very unpleasant for black. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have like, I mean, is it rook a8 that's the best, or there's, I don't know, queen c6?
I mean, if I'm white, I play king h2 because that's the way I play. I give all my advantage away to make my king safe.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be very tempted to play rook a8 though and get that pawn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Winning
oh,
a
you played
pawn is good.
C4. You played c4, Ben.
What's that?
You played c4 instead of rook fe8.
Oh, the actual game. He played c4, which is explosive. It's funny, you were just saying nobody can attack my queen on f3, and he must have heard you. He wants to play c4, rook d3.
That's funny. Okay, reasonable move for sure, with a very clear idea. Yeah, okay, I see his point. He's gonna, on things like rook e7, Ben, I guess he wants to go rook d3, queen g4, and trade and go like rook g8 and use one rook to kind of hold the king side. Queen g4 might not be the best. Yeah, I'm just giving an illustration of like what his point is.
I wish I could see, but I can't.
What's
Ooh,
queen a8 then? Queen a8? It was kind of
that loses
interesting.
immediately.
How about queen a8?
Queen a8.
You have queen e7 though. It doesn't
That,
work,
yeah.
but it was a cool
Yeah.
idea.
Mhm.
Oops, blundered. Trying to make tactics work, I got
Yeah.
myself in a little problem. So you have to be a little careful because, I mean, black is going to want to go rook d1 and queen f2. So what's the way out of that actually? Oh, okay. Is there rook f7? Kind of needs to be looked at.
You're always playing for tricks, but do they work?
You kind of have to play for tricks, right?
Yeah. No, this is a position rich with tricks. Yeah.
Mhm.
The rook f7 is a good move. I like it.
So rook takes, let's say rook takes f7, Ben. But then, I mean, I'm threatening mate. Well, okay. Yeah, let's, and I'm threatening rook takes f4.
You're taking on f7?
Yeah.
Okay, so I take, threatening mate.
Yeah.
Two mates. Well, no, just one mate.
I'm getting mated, right? Because on h6, there's just rook f8 and queen e4.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see this engine line, but it's not gonna, I hope it doesn't happen. I don't want to feel so weak. Queen e2. And if f3, then rook a8.
It's nice. There's
Yeah.
so many back rank tricks in this position.
Yeah. But okay, then it says queen here is good. So maybe it was rook e8. I mean, when I say good, it says it's equal. Rook e8, yeah. This is supposedly really good for white, which doesn't surprise me. If only black had made lifts earlier in the game, we wouldn't have any of these issues.
So basically, he just needs to find rook e7
Mhm.
and then recognize that he can allow rook d3 and go
Right.
queen e2. It's doable, yeah.
Right.
Someone is asking why not queen e4. Well, the problem in the chat, Zusats, is that there's rook d1. So someone is asking why not queen e4 after rook d3. But the problem is, no.
Oh, rook, you mean in this position?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
because the problem is rook d1.
Yeah, rook here, king h2, and then queen
Queen
f2 resigns.
Yeah, white doesn't have checks and white is about.
Yeah, we're threatening we got two mates, one for each of you. Yeah.
So that's why there's this very specific move, queen e2, because it keeps holding the d1 square.
So yeah, it seems like, I mean, the only reason c5 makes any sense to me at all, because it doesn't make sense, is he thought knight d5 was good after bishop c3. If we go back to like where you suggested knight d5, which is correct. Yeah. See, this is the kind of thing that gives Yasser fits. Yasser is always suggesting the strong strategical positional move like knight d5. He's like, that knight's great. And then I defend my c pawn and black has no problems. Then when people do that, he's like, why is he letting this? What's wrong with him? And the reason is it's some calculation they had, which makes them right, but it didn't make them right.
Exactly. Yeah, you're kind of going for the tactical approach, and where there's maybe a little bit of a hole, and then it looks very, very wrong, right? Instead of like,
Yeah, I guess he thought this was okay, but I mean, that's very bad judgment. This is not
he
okay.
thought it was equal, right? But I mean, yeah, he is on the defending side of this.
I mean, the bishop on d2 was just awful, and the knight on d5 was great, and he made it opposite.
Interesting just happened. I mean, white played rook e4, Ben. He didn't play rook e7.
He played rook e4. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see the actual. Yeah. Also good.
Because he's just going to go on rook d3. There's obviously
There's always these back rank tricks.
Queen f4. Queen f4 is my name.
There's
Right?
back rank tricks everywhere.
Back rank, yeah. It's the theme of this position.
Yeah.
Can we show
And if
that?
Black tries to solve his back rank problems, he's hanging all of his pawns. So they're all weak.
Can we show our audience that, Ben? Rook d3.
Yeah, rook here, and then you want to play queen f4. Bam. Then rook takes is bad because you lose. That's a good reason why it's bad. I guess you have to trade queens, and now you have to save your rook and save your
You're losing
pawn.
2 pawns though.
Yeah, you can't save everything. Yeah. Oh, the engine finds a way to save the pawn. Check and rook d8. That way, if you take on c4, I take on f2. It's still losing, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's worse there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is terrible for black, but that was funny.
So rook e4 is okay. He played b5. All right.
After rook e4?
A4,
Yeah.
b5 and a4.
Yep.
Interesting stuff happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So he just wants to undermine that c4 pawn, and after pawn takes, I guess just rook a takes is the point. And he just wants to win the c pawn and kind of play this end game with being up a pawn and the f4 pawn being kind of extended in like a potential second weakness.
Yeah. Are you going to take on c4 to stop rook d3? You don't care about rook d3.
Oh, that's true, Ben. Yeah, that's a good
You might not care about it because all those back rank tricks.
Yeah, you'll just win.
Yeah, so this is very unpleasant for Schwiertz. The game has really turned around after c5. That was quite bad.
Yes.
All right,
So
let's
take
see
a
what
look at
else is happening.
Xiong
I
Caruana.
agree. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can ever get to the right position. Probably not. All right. So knight d8 confusing us. Knight b4, rook b8, and we left here. And after we went on break, he castled. And then h4, put it in h.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's pretty aggressive.
He's trying to get his knight to f5, so obviously black cannot take on h4 at all.
Yeah, and if you play g4 and I go here, you just lose your pawn, right?
Mhm.
So h4 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good move. I like it. Knight f7.
h4 is just good. Yeah.
So he
Okay,
plays
so he
knight
defended his pawn, knight f7.
Oh, and he's gonna go knight h2 maybe soon. You see?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, h takes g5 has to be right. Then f takes g5.
And
And
can
is he
at least-
thinking here? That's what I have, is he hasn't moved yet.
Okay, so let's think of some potential plans. So obviously the focus of this position is the king side, and like how is white gonna use their more active pieces to attack on that side of the board. So I mean, I would love to get the knight to g4 because I would just feel great about my
Right.
position. So knight h2, you go knight h6.
Yeah, but I thought queen h5 was annoying there. That was,
Yeah, and queen h5 is quite annoying because how do you
Yeah.
protect g5?
yeah. And Irene, you've known me for a long time. You know how annoying I am. So, yeah. Man,
That's
this looks, I don't like black here. I don't
the
like it.
problem. The knight is so strong on d5, so much better than he was on d3.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like this position for black.
I think knight h2 is quite reasonable. Oh, but he didn't do that. He went rook f2. Xiang. All right,
Okay.
let's take a look. Okay, he's
Come
trying
on,
to say the knight from
Jeffrey.
f7 cannot move.
Mhm. Yeah, he wants to just double up, and yeah, if the knight can't move because of knight g5, then all right.
Sure,
Yeah,
it's reasonable. There's no knight f6.
I mean, the engine says g4. What human being is playing g4 allowing this? Who's doing that?
I mean, that's crazy, but let's take a look at it.
Who's doing that? Yeah.
Because he really wants to activate the knight.
What? Oh, because he can play knight g5 at some point, like
Yeah,
now?
he wants to try to, go to for h3.
All right. Now rook f5. Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
like
good
white.
for white, right?
Very good for white. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Fabi's got his work cut out for him. I mean, it must be really hard because he knows even better than we do what he did.
Yeah.
And to keep playing, like, to keep fighting when you've basically controlled the game, did what you wanted, then you made one terrible move and now you're just like on the defensive and
Yeah, I know. I mean,
you
he's
don't
gonna
feel
have to
good.
show his psychological strength here.
Yeah, it happens to us all the time, but not to Fabi.
Yeah, I know. It's not every day that you play knight d8 and like allow this knight into d5, and you
Yeah.
just you cannot feel good about that for sure.
No, because he knows he was better and now he's struggling. Yeah.
How about our third game, Dominguez versus Mamedyarov?
Mhm. All right, let me go back to the live board.
Oh no.
What? What? The game, it just ended. It just ended.
Okay.
All right, so what did we miss? Wow, we missed a million moves.
Oh,
If those
well,
moves
there's a lot of
happen.
excitement.
I don't know if the moves happened, but if they did, we missed them. So Rick, is this the last? Oh, no, he played H4.
Like rook h4, okay.
Okay, and then they traded rooks. Oh, and if you take the bishop, I have queen takes B1. If you take on G6, I take and attack your queen.
Yeah, nice move.
He-
So he got out.
So he got it
That
out.
was a mistake, right? Like, I mean, h4, I don't know. He kind
Yeah,
of,
right, probably H4 is just wrong.
yeah,
Wow, bishop G7.
going for the draw.
Okay, so he wants to take on G6 and play queen E5 check?
Yeah, and there's no f6 because rook d7 is a check.
Right, yeah, so, okay, and I guess that's what happened. Yeah,
So it's a total liquidation.
right, that is what happened, yeah.
And rook d8.
Rook D8, yeah, now it's just a draw, yeah. Man, and he really wanted to draw
Yeah,
Dominguez.
Dominguez defended well. It was solid. I feel like he was under pressure, but he held it together well, and he didn't really let Mamedyarov make it too crazy.
That was a pretty well played game where both sides maybe could have had the advantage, but nobody was really killing it.
Yep. So
Yeah, I'm sure Dominguez will be happy he defended that because he was getting in time trouble, and his bishop D7 is really nice.
yeah, I like that trick.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that was
the
good.
whole game we've been talking about, Ben, how is he going to develop that bishop? And then he
Yeah,
finally
he
did
just
it.
played it when because the rook was defend. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, he used the trick to develop it and it worked. Yep.
So
Well,
we got
great
two
defense,
games
and he's
left.
still having a great tournament.
Mhm. Yeah,
mean,
that was very solid with black against a dangerous opponent. So,
Yeah.
but I want to see how Xiang is going to try to win this position.
You want candy? Okay, what's going
Yeah,
on?
I want, like, especially after yesterday, I feel bad that Jeffrey lost.
Right.
So I want him to, like, make this tournament a little bit more up in the air.
I don't think Fabi has moved yet. And I don't blame him. I mean, if G4 is the best move, okay, he could play knight G5, but it's such a big concession because you could just lose. But maybe in the long run, you lose anyway, so you have to do it.
Okay, let's just take a look, Ben. What about knight B6? I mean, how bad is that?
Knight D6?
D6, B. Like boy.
What? Who?
B6, like boy.
A B6. That
Yeah.
makes more sense because it didn't hang your G pawn.
Yeah. I mean, I understand, you know, you have queen b5, but like my position is so ugly. I got to try to trade off your best piece, right? And just make it messy.
Yeah, this could be bailing out a little bit. Yeah. All right, so I take on B5.
Yeah,
Mm.
knight takes, and okay, I don't know. It doesn't look worse than doing nothing. Let's put it like
Wow, the engine just takes with a pawn. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, first of all, that doesn't make sense that he's allowing queen g4, which is incredible. Because I mean, what is he going to do? Go queen e2 or I mean, how does he wants to go rook g2 or something, right? No, I have a feeling Fabi's going to be going in this some direction like that because
Right.
you know, playing passively doesn't really bode very well. Doesn't this look at least like there's some work cut out for
Right,
white?
this is very tricky. The engine loves white, but it's really tricky. Yeah.
And what does he want to do here? Like queen e2?
Queen c6.
Queen c6.
Yeah, I guess if you take my knight, I have queen check and rook h2 mate.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree that, you know, it's quite possible these tactics are not working out, but Black is in in desperation mode.
yeah. No, I agree. Fabi has to decide how bad his position is and what he's willing to do about it.
Yeah.
He can go down fighting, or he could just defend and hope that he can defend.
I guess we're going to see how he evaluates his position with the next move he plays. Getting into his mind. Because, you know,
This is still the live position after rook f2.
yeah, because this is really like
Wow.
you know, white has already shown you what they're going to do, and you got to show them what do you have coming against that.
Yeah, I mean, doubling rooks and knight h2 to g4, and white's just all over Black. A difficult position. Now let's look at the other game. And after this, we'll take another break, probably our last. Rook e1 was played, c4, rook e4, b5, a4, and
Why do you think it's going to be our last break, Ben? I think we'll be here for a while.
you do?
Yeah.
All right, I'll predict the games both end of the next half hour.
All right. I predict.
And okay, Fabi, Jeffrey, Jean go 100 moves, obviously, and I'll be wrong, but
I think
I don't think
it's going to take even Vachier quite a bit of time to win, right? I mean, because it's going to be technical.
And he hasn't moved yet. I don't have him moving for a long time after a4.
Yes, Weirs is still thinking.
Wow.
He's getting down on a clock.
Move number is it 30? All right, well, he has some time left. Yep. All right, so Jeffrey's pushing, MVL's pushing. We have 3 draws in the books, and we're going to take another break. And hopefully we'll see some decisive games this round. But these 2 games are very interesting, even if they could end up drawn. But
I think
probably
there's
not.
a chance we're going to get 2 out of 2 decisive ones right
That's
here.
what I think too, yeah. All right, back after the break. Irina Krush, Ben Feingold, round 5, the Sinquefield Cup. Stay tuned. Chess.com is excited to announce the 2021 FIDE Online Chess Olympiad, incredible online chess event open to chess federations from all over the world. Federations are invited to send their best players and top juniors to compete in rapid chess matches for gold medals. The event has kicked off on August 20th, and we've seen 2 really long days of chess. It goes for several hours, and it's a really interesting event. Players from every country are playing really exciting games. And speaking of exciting games, this game had some excitement since we left Arena. Let's see what he played. Yeah, so this did happen, Rook D3, and then Queen F4. And this is what we were talking about. He played Rook to G8. And we had this kind of position where I think he'd already taken here, and white just takes all those pawns. And the engine said the game was over if he had played the move B6, which he did not play. It said B6, B7, Rook C4,
And just Rook
and
C8. Yeah.
yeah, and then the only way to not lose immediately was to play H6 and then C2. So that this pawn's dangerous also, but okay, white's 2 pawns up, has a pawn on the
Yeah.
7. So this doesn't
that's
look
pretty
very
cool.
good.
So he missed his chance to win like that.
Yeah. So instead,
He didn't play B6.
right, and he had a lot of time on his clock, and he played fast, which he does sometimes.
Ooh.
He played Rook C7, which may be winning, but not as winning.
Because now there's Rook B3.
Yeah, and it looks like, you know, Swiertz is trying to tempt fate with his clock here. Run move 34. All right.
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, black is hoping to trade off those queenside pawns and just draw the 3 against 2.
Right.
And white is going to try not to let that happen. So,
Exactly.
let's take a look at Rook B3.
Mhm.
Rook B3. I mean, I guess only move is Rook C5.
Right. Yeah, Rook C5.
Then C3, only move.
Well, what he could do is he could try to, I guess he can't try to do that. I wanted to play H6 and then win this
And
pawn
Rook
by force,
C8.
but you just play Rook C8 check.
Yeah, it's still gonna be up 2 pawns, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay, so okay, so C3.
Rook C4. And I
Right.
think he's going to, because of those back ring problems, he's going to be up 2 pawns. So I guess he saw that and he just thought this is enough. You know, 2 pawns is quite a bit.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I mean, when you're right, you're right.
Mhm.
And in fact, I think Schwartz sees this and that's why he's not moving. He wants to get rid of that B pawn as, you know, if he can. So he's just thinking forever so he doesn't lose that B pawn. So he can get the B pawn. But it looks
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, Vachier is always going to, you know, defend his pawn with Rook C5.
yeah, and because of the back rank problem, man, the insertion of H3 and black not playing H6 is causing black a lot of issues this game.
Yeah, this is why we tell our students, Ben, right, that as you approach the end game, you know, even if you don't know yet in what way exactly it's going to be useful to have a square for the king, but as you feel that your back rank is getting more empty of pieces, it's always a good idea to have that move inserted.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
we
mean,
do.
we only have
expect
less than
Vachier
30
to-
seconds. Wow.
I guess you want to wait for him to make a move here. Yeah, he played Rook B3, so we're going to see Rook C5.
Mhm. Right, Rook C5, I assume he'll play very quickly. And he did.
Yeah, this is very sad for Swiertz, who had such excellent opening preparation.
Right.
And I guess, yeah, I mean, he's going to be down 2 pawns. He didn't play H6, but I mean, if he does play H6, we take, and then we can always reposition that rook on the 5th rank and, you know, probably find some way to win. I suppose
He
H6.
played C3. It was analysis. I was trying to get
Got
to the
it.
right position.
So Rook C4.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're heading towards a position where he's going to have those 2 extra pawns.
I mean, there has to just be a win. It can't be anything but a win.
Yeah, I agree.
If it's a draw, it's not fair. That's not how chess should work. When you're a pawn up on the queen side and a pawn up on the king side, you should win.
Well, let's take a look at our
Yeah.
main feature.
All I have to do is find it, and I did.
Fabi's back in the game. Future GM 100 is saying. So how did he get back into the game?
All right, let's go back.
It does look, and by the way, I think he actually went for my idea.
Right. You can always go for your idea. But he didn't play e takes d5.
Because he's not a computer, Ben.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it wasn't
Yeah.
that easy, you know.
Yeah, he just took with the queen, which is safer, but that might not get the job done safer.
Right.
Now black has real drawing chances. Yeah, so Fabi decided the long run was bad. Let's get rid of that knight on b6 at any cost.
Yeah.
He didn't pay too much of a cost.
So now what's going to happen, Ben? Is it queen g4? Queen g4 is reasonable. Is it?
I don't like leaving the white queen on the board because it's.
Yeah, you
I'm
don't
scared
like
of it.
that. That's right. I
I
can
think he
see
has to
why you
trade
might want to
queen.
go for the end game.
Yeah.
So queen d5.
I mean, it's pretty pleasant for white. There's a 2 result game if he trades. You know.
Queen d5, e d5, and g4, Ben.
Mhm.
G4 and go knight g5.
I guess I want to take the pawn, so knight h2.
Yeah.
This is pretty tricky for, like a ending that doesn't look too tricky. It's pretty tricky.
Yeah. Okay. So let's not go g4. Yeah. Let's try something else.
Well, you could play knight h6 here and say that this knight's stupid on h2, and knight f5 could be good at some point.
Yeah, it's such a weird position. Like white's up a pawn, but the d pawn is a little bit separated.
Now, did he trade queens yet or not trade queens?
Or not yet. He's still thinking.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I mean, queen g4 is interesting as well. What are you going to do on queen g4? Your computer doesn't like it.
Right. I was going to double rooks, but I think the computer likes king g2.
Uh-huh. And just the queen on d5.
I didn't see king g2. That's why I didn't play it. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So he's going to have to go for that queen trade. Okay. Let's take a
I
look.
think so. Otherwise, he has to go into an ending where he's probably going to lose or draw. That's hard to do. Man, I still can't believe Fabi played knight d8. I'll never get over it. I'll have to take up knitting, so I forget about it.
So queen takes d5, e d5, and what to do for black.
Yeah, this is what should happen.
What's white threatening? Let's just think about that. So I have threats here, like rook e1 or something.
Rook e1 makes sense. I guess I was thinking about playing knight d2 to get my knight to a good square, but you have knight d6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that you can't move your knight now seems
And
like,
black actually wants to go rook d8 and rook takes d5, I think.
yeah.
Rook f d8. So actually, Ben, wait, so why not rook f d8?
Yeah, then I guess I can play my knight d2 because if you play knight d6, you can't take my pawn. And if you play, then if I play knight e4, it seems like I'm better. Then I can double rooks on the F file and try to do something. Yeah, but maybe he'll draw. Maybe.
Yeah, rook takes d5. It's a little annoying. Let's take a look at that. Rook takes d5,
Yeah.
knight e4. I agree that your pieces are certainly looking nice.
Yeah, I got a threat. I'm gonna come here. Yeah, I'll do something. I don't know. Rook f5 too.
Okay, king g7. Let's defend.
Mhm.
Rook d7. Oh, rook d7. Okay, yeah.
Which move? b7?
D like dog.
d7. Where's my tricks?
Because I said dogs, you said tricks, yeah?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't. Yeah, this seems more likely to be a draw than a win because Fabi's going to defend well and There's very few pawns on the board.
Yeah, so I guess, okay, he did go for the queen trade, so he definitely
Yeah.
understood the danger of the white queen being on the board. I think he'll play rook fd8. It's not a very difficult move to find. I mean, trying to win a pawn.
Mhm. What move number are they on? 30, 31. Wow, Fabi's got to play fast.
Oh yeah, so this is
You
all
gotta
the
make 10
actions
moves.
on this board now.
10 moves in less than 4 minutes, and they better be good. Is anything happening in the other game? Let's see.
Yeah, nothing.
Stuff happened. Doesn't look very good for black. Oh, black is like almost losing on time. Okay, that was the 40th move. Yeah.
Yeah. Quite a
Yeah,
sad position.
this is very bad. Yeah, MVL is definitely going to win this.
Yeah.
What a
How
turnaround.
would we go about winning? I mean, there's so many ways, yeah. I mean, one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to go rook c7, rook g7, takes, f5, g5. You might not win that one, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to trade your rook on c5. In fact, you don't want to trade any rooks. I think, well,
I want to trade rooks under the right circumstances, but I don't see those. Yeah, h4 probably makes sense because I think after h4, I can play rook c7, rook g7, and f5. So also I like h4 because my king can move up, and sometimes I can play here. Give myself another passed pawn.
because on h5 there's f5, right? That's your point, Ben.
Yeah, then yeah,
You're
these
gonna
pawns
break
aren't-
through.
yeah.
You're just gonna win the h5.
We're fixing all the weaknesses here. Yeah.
The h4 is a good move.
Yeah, I like h4. That's the kind of move MVL likes. h4. Put it in h.
Yeah. Very reasonable.
Mhm. No, I mean MVL is definitely going to win this. And then, man, that's I want to say undeserved, but it's not really undeserved. It's just a complicated game.
Yeah.
He played f5, which surprises me. And the engine says that's great. Oh yeah, if you take on f5, I take the rook and take on f5. That's pretty winning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
Yeah.
actually like that. Yeah, I didn't see you could just take the pawn back and win. Oh yeah.
Then he'll bring his king over to the b pawn. you
Yeah,
know?
no, I like f5. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, because if you don't take it, then I got another. If you play g5, I have another pass pawn. And he didn't take it. He's got two passed pawns, one for each
I'm
of
gonna
them.
go like rook d3 here. It's
Yeah, yeah,
Not rocket science. Rook d3.
yeah. No, this is over. Yeah, rook d6 is coming, and there's mate and there's queening. Yeah. No, this game's gonna end soon. Yeah. Good technique.
So we got one game to give us all the action.
We don't know the result though. What's the result gonna be?
And
Okay,
Bob-
let's go back and see what
Oh,
happened.
d3, interesting.
Okay, he's trying to trade all the pawns. He's like, if I trade all the pawns, I won't lose.
Okay, that makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to win with no pawns. He's right.
So I guess rook takes b3. I mean, what else could be more natural?
Yeah, I think he's just gonna draw. Fabi's too good. That's good because both players will be very upset if it's a draw, so that's fair.
What was Xiong's mistake then? Oh, it's just that Fabi. Oh, he didn't take with the e pawn.
Yeah, he had to play EG and not worry about queen g4. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so Fabi, very cleverly tried to
Mhm.
kind of go into these forcing sharp lines when his position was not so good.
Mhm.
And Xiong just needed to kind of really calculate accurately. He went for something a little too safe, right?
Right. Yep.
I think that's the issue.
Yeah, he had excellent winning chances with the e pawn, and he's still better, but Fabi's, I don't think, going to lose this position with white's pawns looking like that. Doesn't seem like a position Fabi would lose. Yeah, now I'm not really worried about Fabi's time anymore because he simplified the game so much.
And he's going to play rook d8. So, I mean, either rook takes d3, he's going to get to play, or rook d8 and try to win the pawn, or rook b5 and try to win the pawn. So I don't even know what white's going to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Which pawn is he trying to save?
I mean, there's so few pawns left, and if I take on d3, your other pawns are weak.
I mean, on d4 there's e4, so I doubt that he's going to go there.
I don't think Fabi's going to have trouble drawing this.
Oh, I mean, most likely, well, rook e1, rook d3, knight e5. Well, that's a way the game can end in a draw. Then,
Right, yeah, they just trade everything, yeah.
if white just wants to get all the pieces off the board.
Yeah. No, I mean, Jeffrey's still trying to win, but I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
All right,
but
he played the engine move. Mhm.
So on,
So the idea is after rook d3, rook g6 check, king somewhere, then rook f6. And he wants to do something funny. You know, we don't know how funny, but something.
good try.
Yeah, he wants, like, king g7 is not the engine move, but this is what he wants.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's also possible that this is a draw too, even if he gets what he wants.
Knight takes e5, but then white's going to be, you know.
Right. Yeah, white's obviously playing for a win. Take on
Yeah.
g3. Yeah, you can't block with the rook because you got to defend this one.
Or even rook takes d5. I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on.
I don't know. I just wanted to win your pawn.
Oh, and then go back.
Yeah. I guess I don't think this is going to happen because I don't think Fabi will like this.
Exactly.
But yeah, after rook f6, king g7 is inaccurate. Yeah, just e4 it looks like is good.
Does it? Oh, because of knight h3, knight takes g5.
Yeah. Yeah, knight.
And
if
what about
G5,
what about knight e5 though?
knight where?
E? Like
Knight
Edward?
e5.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I can take and take and take. Now I got 2 pawns to 1 instead of 1 to 1.
Yeah, and then okay, I agree.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think black can lose this. This 2 passed pawns, king safe, perfect pieces. I mean, I could lose it, but
So you think he's going to play rook takes d3?
rook takes d3. Yeah,
And not like, I don't know, king g7 or something. Because king g7 is actually a move. What about king g7 then?
isn't that a
Stopping
song?
king g6.
What about king g7? Rook a7 is annoying.
Now you want to win my knights. Yeah, on rook takes d3, there's knight e5. I get
Yeah, I
that.
mean-
Rook e6 is a good try.
No, rook a6 is a good try. Yeah, it still should be a draw, but I guess he still has to play accurately. I wasn't worried about his time because I'm not the one playing, but he is getting down to a minute. Yeah, he's not out of it yet, Fabi. He's got to defend pretty precisely and with no time on his clock.
Yeah, what was that move that was a little clever there? It was after rook f6, it was, you said it's not king g7. What move
It was
that?
e4. Yeah.
E4. Yeah, so there's quite a bit to see for black.
Mhm.
C4 to kind of calculate knight e5, evaluate it. It's not the most obvious thing.
Right. And as you were saying, but we didn't show it. You were saying that the knight
Yeah. That would lead to a draw
and
immediately.
it's really drawn.
He's really getting low on the clock. How much?
Yeah.
How many more
Yeah.
moves do we have left? How many moves do
The
they have
Schwiertz
left?
threatened to lose on time, but he didn't. And now, okay. I was told MVL 1. And I was told right. Man, that's pretty winning.
Yeah.
So
check.
let's see how he did it. After F5, G5, Rook D3, as you suggested, Rook E8. Man, that's White has every advantage. He can't play Rook double on the 7th rank because Rook C8 is mate.
Check,
Yep, now we're threatening mate.
mate, and F6, yeah.
Yeah, now we're threatening F7 and even better, Rook G7, Rook H8 mate. Good time to resign.
I
Excellent.
think Bashi, yeah, I mean, once he was allowed to unleash his bishop, I mean, he played this endgame quite mercilessly.
Yeah, C5 was really bad. Your move was a lot better, knight D5. Yeah. C5 was pretty bad.
Yeah, you got to keep the position closed when you're playing against the bishop.
Yay, we didn't have all draws today.
All right, so now we at least have one win.
Mhm.
And let's see if Fabi
Got the long game again.
his game is going to.
He played Rook D8 instead of taking on D3.
Wow, and the computer does not like that.
And yeah, the engine says White's completely winning now.
Wow.
Yeah, it says this is over.
Just over, just like what, like Rook
Yeah, like +4.
F6 or
Yeah, it wants to take on F7 and knight takes E5 wins for reasons I don't understand. I don't understand why that wins, but Jeffrey's playing pretty quick.
so he has to go.
Oh, knight D2 check. Oh my God.
Oh no!
Oh my God. He didn't see knight D2 check. Like I didn't see it. He didn't see knight D2 check
He's
or knight D4.
confusing.
Yeah, when both of these pawns are hanging with double check, it's hard to look at other moves. Wow. Yeah, he obviously didn't see that. He just blundered.
Wow, Jeffrey, come
Yeah,
back.
Fabi's gonna lose now. He has to resign now. Yeah, he just has to
Really
resign.
sad. That's really sad that he didn't just
Yeah.
play the natural Rook D3. I mean, it kind of felt like it was the right move, but the G4 was tricky.
Yeah, he
thought
saw
E4
this and he thought this was a draw and this was a draw. Probably right.
Forgot the retreat of the
And then
knight.
yeah, the knight just attacks the rook.
Knight D4 is also good.
Wow. I even wonder even if the rook was on D3, knight E1 and knight E5 win. So he just didn't see that.
Oh, did he make a move before the time control already?
Wow, that's a really bad blunder for Fabi. For me, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played Rook D3.
No, Ben, I want to explain something, a deep observation. Do you
Yeah.
see that the D8 square was the square that he was just like attracted to in this game? That was the mistake. Knight D8 was the mistake and Rook D8 was the mistake.
Yeah,
He just needed to understand that was not the square to put his pieces on in this game.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say one mistake did it, but it didn't. He played knight D8 terrible, probably should lose. He ended up with a drawn position, and then as you said, went to D8 again.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
one
very
move
nice
just-
by Jeffrey. And, Rook D8 felt wrong, right? If you think about it, it feels wrong. It feels a little.
No, but Rook A6 was a really good winning attempt.
It was.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. And I mean, he just blundered immediately. He thought forever. And he thought this was the safest, I guess. He just, yeah, check and Rook F6 and the knight's not defended and he can't
it doesn't
defend it.
feel too safe. Yeah. Because it feels like your F7 knight is just really coming under attack. And okay, now he's losing the knight on F7 and the pawn on E5. Well, actually, okay, hold on. He doesn't want to lose the G3.
There has
pawn.
to be more moves because he has 30 minutes, it says. What's going on here? Come on, Ben, see the game.
It says he lost on time. Is that possible?
It is possible. That's why it says 30-30. Then, because that doesn't make any sense. They didn't make 40 moves. So,
Wow. So Rook D3, I mean, okay, we can just figure out what would happen here, Ben. It was like, I guess Rook F7. You can't go King G6, so you got to go like King G8. And then
I'm up a piece.
I suppose just King G2, just simple.
Yeah. I would go here and take all of your pawns. I'm mean.
Oh, you're mean, yeah. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, everything wins. Yeah. I don't know because Jeffrey's clock is running, but it says 30-30. But oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Jeffrey's gonna win, but I don't know if he already did win.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to be really happy. I think this might be his first win over Fabiano. we need to check that, but
Yeah.
I did not find him winning any games against him previously.
It's not surprising.
And they've played quite a bit.
That's his first win in the tournament. That's good. After yesterday's, man.
So
losing his
I
kids.
do not see a single win, at least since the 2016 U.S. Championship, and I doubt that they played before because
Yeah.
Xiang is quite young, but there's not a single win, not in rapid or not online, not in person. So he has never beaten Caruana before. He's made some draws, lost a bunch of games, and this is his first win. So I think he's going to be really.
And as I said before, anybody can beat anybody. And Jeffrey lost to the lowest rated player in the tournament and then beat the highest rated player in the tournament. So there you go.
So we are going to have two decisive games. That's not bad.
Yeah, this game is officially over. I see the 1-0.
And by the way, Ben, someone is asking in the chat if you're streaming later tonight.
I am. I'm actually going to be on Chess TV, and maybe they'll even raid me, but I doubt it because I'm not going to stream until like 9:30. Take a break. Yep, it'll be sub Saturday. So if you like submarine sandwiches, this is the stream to watch. All right, we're going to go on our last break. 2 decisive games. One of them surprised us a little. 3 draws, pretty good round, pretty interesting. Ended a bit early, and we'll be back right after this break. And we are back to wrap up the show. An early day today, not as exciting win-wise, but we had a very unusual result. Jeffrey Zhang beating Fabiano for the first time, and it looked like he had to beat him twice that game. I thought Fabiano was going to draw, but time trouble makes fools of us all. And MVL turned his game around. And once again, it's good to have the white pieces. Yesterday, white won 4 games. Today, white won 2 games, and black isn't winning any games. And we have MVL back again. He's tied for first place, this time with Dominguez and So. And as our producer said, the So gambit, it looked like it worked. He drew his game quickly, which seemed pretty silly, but then Fabi lost his game. So I guess Wesley wasn't too upset about that. And unfortunately, Schwiertz is still in the basement. 4 losses. Jeffrey Zhang back to 50%. It was actually a pretty interesting round, even though there were 3 draws. What were your thoughts, Irina, about this round?
Yeah, I thought it was certainly, well, not as exciting as the previous 2 days. We did have some games that ended fairly quickly. But on the other hand, we had plenty of excitement from the games that did turn out to be decisive. So, I mean, I thought Xiong versus Caruana was a great battle. And I think, even though white keeps winning in this tournament, it's really not because white is always winning from the opening. I mean, today, for example, black had completely normal positions in both of their games. Like, I loved Caruana's opening against Xiong. I liked how Schwiertz was playing against Vachier. So they really can't blame the opening for their losses. And I think Caruana is, of course, the player who's going to be the most disappointed, I think, with his game today, especially given like what a very pleasant position he had coming out of the opening. He came with a fighting approach and it seemed to be paying off, but then just one mistake put him on the back foot, and then he still fought back, and then just one more mistake in time trouble kind of finished it for him.
Exactly. Now, for those of you who can't wait to watch Irina and me again do commentary, tomorrow's a rest day. So if you come tomorrow to watch us, you'll have to sit at your computer 24 hours, something you've never done. Well, maybe you have. And before the next round, tomorrow's a rest day, not only for Irina and I, but also for the players. I'm sure the players a much deserved rest with so many decisive games. Let's have a look at the schedule. It's going to be a rest day tomorrow, and then that would be the 22nd. Yeah. And then the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, no rest. They play 4 consecutive rounds. If there's a tie, they're going to have a playoff on the 27th. So there's a 3-way tie for first right now. So we shall see.
Yeah, I think actually any of these players can still win. And I think Caruana, I mean, he's only half a point off the lead, right? Since Wesley didn't really increase his lead today, neither did Dominguez. So, I mean, any of those 4 players are still in really good position to win this tournament.
Yep. And here's the pairings for the next few rounds, which you can see on your screen. What matchup? Well, we have a day off tomorrow. What matchup in the next round do you think is the most exciting, Irina?
Oh, Caruana Vachier. That's a big one.
That sounds good.
He's going to come back with the white pieces, and he's going to try to get back to the top of the leaderboard. What else I think is exciting? Xiong versus So. I mean, I hope it's going to be exciting.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, it should be exciting, but it depends, right? Yeah. Shankland, Rapports. I think that's going to be a good battle. Dominguez, Svidler. I mean, I really would like Svidler to kind of get some more playable positions. Just find his groove in this tournament. Hopefully, he can do that after the rest day. And Schwiertz, Mamedyarov. I mean, okay, well, Mamedyarov will be pushing. Those are. So it seems like every game, anything could happen. And we saw it today. Jeffrey lost yesterday to the lowest rated player, and today he beat the highest rated player. Anybody can win any game. There's not really any upsets, but I'm sure Fabiano is pretty upset. Thanks for watching coverage of round 5. Tomorrow's a rest day, and we'll see you again in 2 days for round 6. Thanks for watching, everybody. And for Irina and myself, bye, everyone.